The Michigan softball home finale is finally here as number 7 ranked UCLA Bruins look to sweep the Wolverines in their first matchup in Ann Arbor on a beautiful sunny Monday afternoon. So glad to have you all with us today. My name is Jake Singer here alongside Theo Shernoff right here on WCBN Sports. The Wolverines are 32-17 on the season, most recently getting swept by number 24th ranked Ohio State last weekend. Have already lost the first 2 games of the series this weekend against the number 7th ranked Bruins, but they look to turn that around today here at 70 degrees at Alumni Field. Michigan looking to avenge its first 2 losses on Saturday in their first matchup. We saw Lauren Durkowski get thrown out for the Wolverines. She got rocked up a little bit, ending in the loss, but today she'll be back in the pitcher circle. Theo, what can you tell me about Durkowski's first start in this series, and what can we expect to see from her today if she wants to bounce back against this ferocious Bruins team?
Yeah, Jake, the Wolverines lost 3-5 on Saturday and then 3-4 on Sunday. Durkowski did pitch on Saturday, like you mentioned. She's been the Friday, Sunday, or the Saturday, Monday starter all year for these Wolverines, with Aaron Hain in the mix on the midweeks and the middle game of the weekend series. Durkowski went for 5 innings, let up 4 earned runs, had a lot of base runners early on, and UCLA found ways to put those runners home. But she was relieved by Emerson Aiken on Saturday, who pitched 2 innings, allowing 1 earned run. But this UCLA offense isn't anything to be reckoned with. They are the number 7 team in the country, have some real weapons throughout the order, and Durkowski certainly has her hands full. And they didn't shell her last game, but they certainly got the best of her in the pitching comparison that has Tinsley pitching for UCLA.
Well, speaking of Taylor Tinsley in the opposing pitcher circle, Tinsley will be getting the start once again for the Bruins, also getting the start in most previously on Saturday's matchup. And she picked up the win against Michigan, went 6 innings. She was fantastic against this Wolverines team. What did she do last time that worked so well against this Wolverine team, and what can she do today, again, to try to assert her dominance over this really strong batting lineup of Michigan's?
She kept the ball out of the heart of the plate, and that's something the Wolverines are very good at doing, is hitting balls in the heart of the plate. But throughout the order, there are reachers, right? In the bottom of this Wolverine order, they like to swing at the low pitches, and Tinsley did a good job of changing the eye level. She threw fastballs high in the zone, raising the eye level, and then threw drop balls down in the zone, getting swings and misses and really weak contact. The Wolverines didn't have any big hits until late in the game when she got fatigued. I was even surprised that they took her out after 6 innings. I thought UCLA should have kept her in for the 7th, but it worked out nevertheless. Tinsley is she was confident on Saturday, and the coaching staff knows she'll keep them in any game she's in.
Well, Tinsley will have to still face a very strong start of Michigan's lineup. On the other side, though, too, Durkowski will have to face just an amazing lineup overall. I'll start with Michigan. Michigan has 6 of its 9 batters batting over 300 this season. The lineup has been relatively the same all season long. Who can be the spark plug today for the Wolverines on the offensive side to try to get the scoring going and try to get an early lead here against the Bruins?
I'm gonna go Lily Valamont. She's been heating up as of late, and although she only has a 267 average on the season, we've seen her power recently. She had a walk-off home run against Rutgers a few series ago. She has that power. We've seen her produce in clutch situations, 28 RBIs on the season. I think Valamont, from that catcher position, can provide a different layer to this offense, although she has struggled. And you know the consistent Conway inputs are going to be there for this team. Conway inputs have been the 2 best offensive producers, specifically Conway. In the last month has been just out of this world, slugging ridiculous numbers of home runs and keeping that average high. This top 4 for the Wolverines has been consistent all season long. If they can get that bottom 5 to produce, then this opens up a whole new dimension for the team.
Well, finally, I think we'd be remiss to not mention the stellar play of one of the UCLA players all season long, utility junior Megan Grant. She's ranking 2nd in the NCAA with 22 home runs, 3rd with over 1,000 slugging percentage. You were saying earlier, Theo, to me off air, she's getting on base pretty much every single at bat. It's ridiculous. What has been the key to her success, and And what can she look to do today here on this beautiful sunny Monday afternoon?
Yeah, Grant, she throws righty but bats lefty, big lefty up there. She's slugging 1.041. That means she averages over one base per at bat. She averages more than a single per at bat. She only has a on base percentage of .561, so she gets on base around half the time. But when she gets on base, it often goes for extra bases. 22 home runs, and before her is Jordan Woolery in the 3 spot, 19 home runs. Both big power hitters in that 3-4 slot. That's why it's crucial for Drakowski to face those hitters with no one or limited people on base. If those hitters come up in big moments, if there's a base open, I wouldn't mind seeing Drakowski use that intentional walk, which she did on Friday.
Well, let's meet the UCLA starting lineup. Again, they're going to face Lauren Drakowski in the circle. Leading off for the Bruins, it'll be Jessica Clemens. She'll be starting at center field today for UCLA, batting .376. Behind her, it's Savannah Pola starting at second base in the 2-hole. Jordan Woolery is the number 3-hole batter for the Bruins. She's batting .429 this season, 19 home runs. We'll get to her a little bit later. Megan Grant in the cleanup. We already talked about her. She's been fantastic. Kania Bragg will be in the 5th hole, starting at shortstop for UCLA. Alexis Ramirez in the designated player spot. Maggie Daniel at catcher. Riley Pinedo at right field, and Caitlin Terry rounding out the Bruins starting lineup today for UCLA. UCLA in their all blues today, beautiful uniform combination, blue tops, blue pants. The Wolverines are in their maize tops, blue pants today, and Lauren Drakowski is ready to get the ball rolling here. UCLA, Michigan, series finale in Ann Arbor, home finale for the Wolverines. We're about to get underway in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Clemens in the box. First pitch from Drakowski's underway, and it'll be high and outside for ball number 1.
Clemens, the slap hitter, traditional leadoff hitter in college softball these days. Just trying to put that ball in play, use her speed to get on base, but she does have a little pop in her swing. 3 homers on the year.
Second pitch is down the middle for strike number 1, and Lauren Drakowski has thrown her first strike of the day. 1-1 count to Clemens. Again, Clemens batting .376 this season, 3 home runs, 33 RBIs. She also has 11 doubles on the season. Here's the 1-1, and that gets poked foul, back and out of play. Big pitch here for Lauren Drakowski, trying to make a statement against Jessica Clemens, the leadoff batter for the Bruins. Payoff pitch, and it's high and outside for ball 2.
Drakowski pitching in what very well may be her last home game ever here at Carol Hutchins Stadium. A fantastic career. We'll likely remember her for a while, but right now she's trying to knock off the number 7 team in the country.
Here's a 2-2 from Drakowski, and that's low in the dirt. Nice scoop by Lily Valamont, the catcher for the Wolverines. Full count to Jessica Clemens. Drakowski currently ranked 8th on the all-time strikeout list for the Wolverines. She has been one of the greats. Full count, here's the pitch, and poked foul. Keeping herself alive is Jessica Clemens, and we do it all over again. Drakowski likes to feed a lot of fastballs. She has a lot of wicked movement in her pitches as well. She has been practically a 2-day starter every series for this Michigan team. Here's a 3-2, and right outside they call ball 4. That looks really close, but Clemens draws the leadoff walk, and the Bruins have one on with no out here in the top of the first inning.
Yeah, that's what makes this UCLA lineup so dangerous. The ability to get on base for those first and second hitters, Clemens and Pola, who's now up to the plate, and then set the table for Woolery and Grant.
Pola tries to bunt and slap it on, but she pulled back right before, so 1-0 count to Pola.
I think it's crucial mentally here for the Wolverines to start strong. Drakowski's going to keep them in the game, but especially on the hitting side, keep themselves in this game early, maybe get out to an early lead and retire batters as quickly as you can.
Pola slaps one foul into the Bruins bench for strike number 1. 1-1 count to Savannah Pola. Pola is senior second baseman, batting .440 this season for UCLA. That is just a remarkable stat line. 8 home runs, 42 RBIs, 16 doubles. Here's the 1-1, and that's high and outside for ball 2. Small strike zone today. Home plate umpires John Baca, first base umpire Christina Drum, third base umpire is Mark Corris.
Clements on first, a capable base stealer, 9 for 10 on the season. Has that speed if they want to exploit that. Be surprised if she ran here, though.
2-1 to Pola. Here's the pitch, and that gets poked foul back into the backstop and out of play.
Clements was running on that pitch. She took off for second. UCLA uses those one-strike counts to steal. They tried to steal on a 3-1 count earlier in this series. They like to get a runner in scoring position with 2 strikes and try to get a single to bring them in.
Great insight there. 2-2 to Pola. Runner on first. Here's the pitch. That gets bounced to the middle. McVeigh, it goes through the hole into center field as Janisa Conway, and she gets it in. And right away, the Bruins have 2 runners on, no out. Nice base hit there for Pola.
That's the advantage that you get as a slap lefty. You have the third baseman and shortstop playing closer to the left field line, playing in, and that leaves a big hole in between second base and shortstop. If McVeigh is at her normal depth that she is for maybe, say, a power righty, she gets to that ball and might even be 2 outs. But instead, it's a single, and UCLA has 2 ducks aboard.
Jordan Willery up to bat. First pitch she sees a strike down the middle for strike number 1. Jordan Willery, the junior third baseman, is also just having a remarkable season. A .429 batting average, 19 home runs, 70 RBIs. 2 runners on, no out. 0-1 count to Willery. Here's the pitch, and she skies one deep right field. It will be playable, though, for Stevenson. Runner will tag from second. It's Clemens, and now UCLA has runners on the corners with 1 out here in the top of the first inning.
It's a very loud out number 1, but Durkowski will take Woolery out anytime. Anytime Woolery does not get on base, that's a success in her book, but this is a very dangerous situation. Megan Grant, I would assume Durkowski pitches around her, doesn't give her anything meaty to hit.
So 1 out for Megan Grant. First pitch is going to be a steal attempt, and Michigan played it very well, but the ball tipped off Indiana Langford's glove, and Pola steals second. She kind of got caught in the middle of the base path, but with the ball tipping off Indiana Langford's glove, allowed Pola to slide in safely to second, and now the Bruins have runners on second and third with 1 out.
There's that danger of Clements coming home on a double steal, so McVeigh cut in front of the throw, or Langford cut in front of the throw, trying to throw home, but Clements stayed put at second. Now with her base open, first base open, I wouldn't be surprised if there's 4 straight balls here to Megan Grant.
Would not either. We're going to see what happens here. Head coach Bonnie Thole coming out to talk to the home plate umpire, John Baca. It's a 2-0 count to Megan Grant. Crowd got very quiet for a second. Again, Pola on second, Clements on third. Score 0-0. Top of the first inning, 1 out here. Appears everything's all right, though, as Coach Thole just gets a clarification from the home plate umpire. We're going to resume play here, but that was a good point there, Theo. With first base open now, best hitter up at the plate for the Bruins, and Megan Grant, the junior first baseman, would not be surprised if they pitch around her. Do not want to give up a big hit here. Here's the 2-0 from Durkowski, and that is just outside for ball 3.
3-0. I don't think Durkowski's going to give Grant anything to mess with, but if she does, you know Grant has the green light. 1 out, no double play opportunity. It's just there's 2 RBIs for her if she can put 1 in play.
Here's a 3-0, and that's high, ball 4. So just as you said, Theo, Megan Grant gets walked on a 4-pitch walk. Now the Bruins have something brewing here. Bases loaded, 1 out. And we're going to get a quick mound visit here for Lauren Durkowski to calm herself down before Kania Bragg comes up to the plate.
I think it's damage control at this point, Jake. You just want to you can let up a sac fly, but getting out on this next batter no matter what. Kania Bragg is dangerous herself, not as dangerous as the previous 2 hitters. You want her to make it out somewhere on the field. There's outs at literally every base. So find an out. You can let up a run. Just escape this inning down 1-0 or better. That's the goal right now for Dukowski. That's what the message is on the mound.
Bragg batting .331 this season, 7 home runs, 36 RBIs, 8 doubles, and she has bases loaded here with 1 out in the top of the first inning. Dukowski coming into the day with a 2.80 ERA. She's 12-12 though this season. First pitch to Bragg is just inside for ball number 1. That was a really close pitch there. Dukowski just does not get the call.
UCLA started the game very similarly on Saturday. Pola on second, Clements on third, Bragg at the plate. She laced an RBI single to right field to score Clements.
Here's the 1-0. Bragg pops it up in the air. It's going to be shallow right field. Stevenson's in. Runners tagging from third, now retreats. Good play by the Wolverines, keeping the runners at bay. Ella Stevenson getting it in close. 2 outs. Bases loaded remain the same for the Bruins. And Michigan so far has staved off some danger.
That ball was in between Langford and Stevenson, but smart play by Stevenson to call off Langford. Her momentum coming in, fired a strong throw to the plate. Had Clements had gone home, she would have been out by a country mile.
2 outs here, bases loaded for Alexis Ramirez. First pitch is just outside for ball number 1. Ramirez, a right-handed batter. The sophomore is batting .341 this season, 10 RBIs, 2 home runs. Big moment here for Dukowski. 1-0 to Ramirez. Bases loaded, top of the first. Here's the pitch, and that's a nice strike in there. Strike number 1 for Dukowski, a fastball.
It's nice to see this switch up. Home plate umpire John Baca signals that strike very quickly. We see a lot of softball umps delay for seconds and then signal that call. We know if it's a strike or a ball very quickly with this umpire.
Here's the 1-1 to Ramirez. That's high for ball number 2.
With the bases loaded, there's nowhere to put Ramirez. She knows Dukowski's going to throw her strikes. She's going to probably sit fastball. With a slightly hitter's count, Dukowski's likely trying to find the strike zone, avoid balls, throw fastballs down the middle. I wouldn't be surprised if she laces one to right field on a late fastball.
2-1, check swing. They say she goes. There's also probably a strike no matter what. 2-2, good changeup there for Dukowski.
She was sitting fastball, and Dukowski knew that, froze her with off speed.
2-2 pitch. Big pitch here for Lauren Dukowski, top of the first. Here's the pitch, and she pokes it, and it's fair. Stevenson in right gets it all the way in. 1 runner scores. That's all. As Ella Stevenson gets it in, UCLA on the board here in the first inning. Nice RBI single from Ramirez.
Ramirez sat back, got a pitch she liked to hit, and laced it into right field. Stevenson with 2 very strong throws to catcher Lily Valamont has kept the Bruins at 1 run. And now it's again damage control. Maggie Daniel up, hitting only .155 on the season. This is an out you have to get.
So 1-0 UCLA. First pitch to Maggie Daniels inside for ball number 1. Ramirez at first, Grant at second, Pola at third. Jessica Clements was the one who scored the first run here in the top of the first inning for the Bruins. Freshman catcher batting .155 this season. Here's the 1-0, and that's high for ball 2.
Dukowski falling behind to a lot of these Bruin hitters. First pitch strikes are huge. It's a huge metric to track, and she hasn't contributed a lot of those. And then when you fall behind, it gives hitters pitches to hit in hitters' counts.
Really nice changeup there on the 2-0 to Daniel. Just froze her, kind of chuck swung. Got a piece of it on the inside of her bat. 2-1 count to Daniel. Dukowski's been battling all first inning. 2 hits for UCLA, 2 walks. Here's the 2-1 to Daniel, and she gets a piece of that way out in front, though, on the changeup. 2-2 count for Dukowski.
Daniel from Hoover, Alabama. UCLA has a surprising amount of players from the South. Their pitcher today is from Georgia. So recruiting on the national scale. Daniel has a spot to put a dent, kind of blow this game wide open at the top of the first.
2-2 to Daniel. Freshman in a big spot here. Here's the payoff, and she pops that up. potentially playable for Valamont, and she makes the catch. Lauren Durkowski works out of trouble, giving up just one run here at the top of the first inning, and the Wolverines will have a chance to capitalize in the bottom of the inning. You're listening to WCBN Sports. Stay right there. We'll be right back. One nothing lead for the UCLA Bruins. Now it's Taylor Tinsley's turn to see what she can do in the pitcher circle. Theo, we talked about at the top of the broadcast how dominant Tinsley's been all season long. Most recently pitching in the Bruins' win on Saturday against the Wolverines.
Yeah, she's been a fantastic pitcher. 2.32 ERA from Lawrenceville, Georgia. Couldn't really find much interesting about that city except that Taylor Tinsley is from there. So Tinsley, a junior pitcher, 11-3 on the season, pitched 6 strong innings, only allowing 1 earned run. 2 of those runs went unearned. In the first, though, top of the first, Durkowski, damage control. She limited the Bruins to 1 run. They kind of went station to station, couldn't get that big hit. And that's what Durkowski's going to need to do. With 2 outs, with runners in scoring position, pitch to weak contact, and that's what she did. Wolverines escaped, and now Langford has a chance to set the table for the power hitters.
Indy Langford gets it in the air, and it goes down for a base hit in left field. Caitlin Terry off her glove. Langford slides into second, and she has a leadoff double. Indy Langford taking the first pitch with her. Outside pitch, taking it the other way, and the Wolverines are already in business.
It wasn't a scouting issue. UCLA knew exactly where that ball was going to go. Terry was right there. That ball was floated over the shortstop and third baseman into left field. Terry was there, made a dive, went off the edge of her glove, and Langford too quick. If the ball gets by her, she's extra bases.
Talking about balls getting by, Maggie Daniel allows a pass ball. Indy Langford now approaches third base safely. So she's at third base, no out here for Janisa Conway facing a 1-0 count. The sophomore center fielder's batting .380 this season, 44 RBIs, 16 home runs, and she is Indy Langford on third base. Pitch to her is inside for ball 2.
Now the mentality changes for Conway. Less than 2 outs, runner on third. You're just looking to lift one into the outfield, and Conway's been good at that. She's tended to lift it over the wall. Now it's just lift one deep, get Langford home, tie this ball game up.
Infield playing very in. They're looking to try to get Langford at home. 2-0 count to Conway. Here's the pitch, and that finds the outside corner for strike number 1. High outside fastball there for Tinsley, and again, this is someone who has not been into a lot of pickles all season long with that 2.32 ERA, 11-3 record with 24 appearances, making her 17th start. Pitch to Conway is now too high and outside for ball 3. Again, first and second base are open. Indy Langford standing on third base with 0 outs here in the bottom of the first inning.
Tinsley definitely going to be cautious with Conway at the plate. 3-1 count.
Here's the pitch, and she gets it on the ground, bouncing it foul just way out in front. First baseman Megan Grant is able to retrieve it by the Wolverine dugout. So,
full count.
Full count here for Janisa Conway. Runner on third. Big pitch here for Tinsley. Here's the payoff, and that's inside for ball 4. Tinsley went with the off-speed, got a little too much movement on it, and the Wolverines have runners on the corners with no outs, and now the Bruins pitching coach will come out for a mound visit. So 2 quick holes that Durkowski and Tinsley have faced here in just the first inning. We're on tap for a really good one today, Theo.
We are. Conway at first. Second base is open. Very capable base stealer. 14 for 15 on the season. With Lauren Putz at the plate, one of the most consistent hitters for the Wolverines all season long. Wouldn't be surprised if Bonnie Thole tries to put Conway in scoring position, so a single would maybe score 2.
Puts batting .392. The freshman has had a lot of accolades this season. She's one of the most reliable batters on this Michigan team, as you said. Just a freshman coming from Arizona. She was the Max Preps 2024 Arizona Player of the Year. 4-time first-team All-Premier Region. She was Conference Player of the Year. And now she has runners on corners against number 7th-ranked UCLA Bruins. Again, the Wolverines have not beaten a ranked team all season long. They've had many opportunities. Let's see what they can do right now. Puts at the plate. First pitch is high and outside for ball 1.
That Puts name has a lot more accolades than you just mentioned, Jake. JJ, one of the most successful Wolverine pitchers in a while, was a reliever all around the MLB. And then Kelsey, her mom, JJ's her dad, Kelsey, her mom, was one of the best Wolverines All-American in the middle infield when she played in Ann Arbor.
1-0 pitch actually went off the glove, and the Wolverines score. Went off the glove of Maggie Daniel. Indy Langford scores. Janisa Conway goes to third. Apologies for the delay. It was a wild pitch there by Taylor Tinsley, and the Wolverines tie it up here in the bottom of the first.
An awkward play, kind of looked like the type of play that's generally a foul tip, but Puts came up empty and then went off the glove of Daniel.
Puts fouls off the next pitch she sees. Again, the pitch before, Puts swung and missed. It was unclear originally if it was a foul ball or just a swing and a miss, but we really quickly realized it was a swing and a miss. Goes off the glove of Maggie Daniel, the freshman catcher, allowing Indy Langford to score. 1-1 your score. No out here in the bottom of the first inning. Umpires are going to discuss the count really quickly. Again, there was the wrong count on the boards. They're going to say it's a 1-2 count here for Lauren Puts. Conway on third. Here's the pitch. Puts just pushes that one foul, keeping herself alive.
Heads up base running by Janisa Conway on that wild pitch to get herself all the way to third with nobody out. Langford had a head first slide into home plate, and Conway could have just stopped at second, but she saw that they were focused on Langford, scooted herself to third, and now a sac fly scores her.
1-2. And that's inside for ball number 2. That was a fastball. I've ever seen one. And Puts had a good eye there, letting that one go by her. 2-2 count to Puts. No out here in the bottom of the first inning. Wolverines on third. Changeup is high for ball number 3. Again, on Saturday, Tinsley rarely faced any trouble whatsoever. Here in the first, though, here's a 3-2, and she puts that one in the air. That should be dropping. That's going to score 1. Puts rounds first. She's going to go to second. She's going to stand up, and she has a stand-up double, an RBI double at that, and the Wolverines have the lead here in the bottom of the first inning.
Lauren Puts taking the pitch where she got it, brought it up to left field, kind of floated it over the head of the shortstop, Kanaya Bragg, before Kelly and left, and it had backspin, which allowed her to get to second as it spun away from Kelly and left. Now another runner in scoring position for Stevenson. Wolverines looking to play add-on.
Ella Stevenson in the batter's box. First pitch she sees is a fastball for a strike. 0-1 count to Stevenson. Puts on second. Wolverines have added 2 here in the bottom of the first inning to take the lead. Here's the 0-1, and big swing and a cut going foul for 0-2 count to Ella Stevenson.
UCLA has been scored as an error at some point in this inning. I'll try to figure out where that happened. A lot of pass balls, wild pitches, and even a play on left that could have been made.
Yeah, good point there, where the error was. Here's the 0-2 to Stevenson, and that's high and outside for ball 1. Taylor Tinsley struggling here to get the first out of the inning. Ella Stevenson, the number 4 hole batter for the Wolverines. Here's the pitch. That gets skied up, potentially playable, but that's going to go just foul. It's unclear what the fans are booing at. Maybe the event staff running away from the ball instead of trying to catch it in the stands. Nonetheless, it's a 1-2 count to Stevenson. Puts on second. Here's the payoff. Stevenson puts that one in the air. Jessica Clemens has a play on it. She makes the catch. Tagging is Putz from second. She slides in safely at third. And so it was a nice out there for Ella Stevenson. A sacrifice fly getting her teammate to third base. Just one out here in the bottom of the first inning.
Very strong throw from center there. Putz tagging up, timing it effectively. And now Wolverines doing what UCLA does so well is manufacturing runs. Right? They haven't had a homer. They haven't really put the ball to the wall. But they've just advanced runners one at a time and had productive outs. That was a productive out by Stevenson. Now a fly ball from Valamont scores Putz.
Lily Valamont, the catcher at the plate. First pitch she sees, she takes a big pull at it, very much ahead of it. Went almost into the UCLA dugout and out of play. 0-1 count to Valamont. You said at the top of the broadcast, Theo, Valamont getting hot as of lately, now batting .267 with 3 home runs, 28 RBIs, 7 doubles. Sophomore catcher has dealt with a lot of injuries in her career, but right now she's in a big spot. Next pitch she sees is outside for ball number 1. Big crowd here at Alumni Field, Carol Hutchins Stadium on a Monday afternoon. 1-1 count to Valamont. She takes a big rip, and that goes foul behind her. A lot of UCLA fans here this weekend, Theo.
Yeah, they come in numbers. This UCLA softball team that's been very good all season, number 7 ranked in the country, have a large fan base behind their home plate, and they have some fun chants that I heard on Saturday.
1-2 to Valamont. That's on the ground. Play at the plate. And they say that Putz gets tagged out. Nice play there by Kenia Bragg, the shortstop. Going from short to home. Maggie Daniel putting the tag on Lauren Putz. And so it'll be a fielder's choice for Lily Valamont. Score remains 2-1 here. 2 outs. Bottom of the first inning.
Yeah, that's a mistake. Bonnie Thole sent Putz from third on a grounder to short. And Bragg looked back Putz like fielders are taught to do. Look the runner back to the base, and Putz just never went back. She just continued running home. That was a pretty easy 6-2 put out at the plate.
Ellie Sealer sends one. High fly ball, right field. See you later. That's a home run for Ellie Sealer. A 2-run shot. And the Wolverines extend their lead 4-1.
Sealer's 3rd home run of the season. She got a fastball elevated in the zone and took it out to right. Just a few feet to the left of that foul pole on an 0-1 count. That's a pitch that Tinsley wants to have back, and Sealer has that pop in her bat. Although it's only her 3rd home run, she's been capable of that, and that's the exact pitch she loves to hit up in the zone as a lefty. Get in front of it and use the velocity of the pitch to carry it over the wall.
That's exactly what happens. Again, not a lot of home runs this season, but with a lot of velocity in the pitches from Taylor Tinsley today. Sealer just literally let the bat do all the work for her, and that sailed over the 200-foot right field wall, probably going 215 right there, and the Wolverines have been piling it on here in the first inning.
The Wolverines have plateaued at 3 runs each of the first 2 games. And in this first inning, with only 2 outs, they already have 4 runs. Tinsley looks like she'll remain out there as there's some glove switching in left field. But definitely rattling for her as she's not used to pitching from behind with this team.
Not at all. Again, the Wolverines have just been taking what the Bruins have been giving them here in the first inning. Again, they get a tag out at home plate, the batter before, runner on first base, doesn't even matter. Still 2 runners score here on that home run. As again, we're getting a conversation here between the home plate umpire and one of the coaches of the Bruins. If you're just joining us, my name is Jake Singer. Alongside me, Theo Shernoff. You're listening to WCBN Sports. The Wolverines are leading 4-1 here in the bottom of the first inning at Alumni Field, trying to win their first ranked matchup of the 2025 season in the home finale. Again, if we take a look at the Big Ten standings right now, UCLA sitting in second place at 15-3 conference record. Michigan at 9-9, currently sitting in 8th. And now I believe they're going to pull Taylor Tinsley here. Or if, yeah, that's what they're going to do. So Taylor Tinsley going.
A very complicated series of switches here that UCLA head coach Kelly Inoue Perez is pulling off here. Multiple outfielders swapping positions.
A lot of changes, so bear with us while we take note of it. But Taylor Tinsley's day is done. She
can return.
My apologies. Her day is done for right now. She can return. Just through those 2 outs here in the bottom of the first inning. We're going to get our first pitching change of the day. It's going to be number 55.
There is no 55 on the roster.
Yeah, bear with us here while we get the names.
Okay, it's Caitlin Terry. That's the left fielder.
Yes, Caitlin Terry comes in from left field, and she will now enter the pitcher's circle. We'll give her time to warm up. Give us just a few seconds. You're listening to WCBN Sports. Caitlin Terry in the circle, doing some changes here. Liesl Osteen comes into right field. And I believe Riley Slimp will also come into left field. First pitch to Maddie Erickson is fouled off out of play. So a lot of changes here. Slimp, Clemens, and Osteen are now in the outfield. Infield stays the same. Willery, Bragg, Pola, and Grant.
Except there is a change at catcher. Mujica in for Daniel.
Erickson fouls one off out of play. Yes, thank you for that, Couch 2. Sophia Mujica, the catcher. So a ton of changes going on here in the first inning. UCLA not liking the lineup that they threw out there. 4-1 Wolverines lead. 0-2 to Erickson. That's on the outside for ball 1.
Very interesting decision there by UCLA to kind of mix up the entire complexity of the game, of their lineup.
Completely.
After just going down 4-1, we know this offense is capable of scoring 3 more.
Erickson skies one, deep left field, see you later. Does not matter who the pitcher is. Wolverines, back-to-back shots as Maddie Erickson sends one around. She rounds the bases. Wolverines lead 5-1.
Maddie Erickson, her 6th home run of the season. You mentioned it, back-to-back with Ellie Sealer. That's exactly what the Wolverines were looking for out of this bottom half of the order. Can they produce runs? And they have today, and that's exactly why there are 5 on the board. We knew there was going to be runners aboard for this bottom half, and they provided the power. That's what the Wolverines have been looking for Erickson to contribute this season. She contributed a lot more of that last season, and now finally digging back into vintage Maddie Erickson.
Erickson's 6th home run of the season. She just pulled that one and sent it over the left field wall. Maddie Ramey now to bat. She grounds one to first base, and that will end the inning. Megan Grant steps on the base for herself. Nonetheless, Wolverines pile it on, the number 7th ranked team in the country, and the Wolverines lead 5-1 now as we enter the top of the 2nd inning.
This is a huge, crucial game for the Wolverines. Coming into this series, a lot of bracketology had them as the last team in or one of the first 4 out of the NCAA tournament after dropping the first 2 heartbreakers here to UCLA. A win, especially a big win, would do wonders for their resume, right? They're trying to crack that tournament field, and if they do crack that field, they know they can beat anyone, and they are capable of it, but they have to have the resume to do it. So a big win against UCLA, playing add-on like Erickson did just there, is huge for their hopes.
Big for their hopes indeed. Now Durkowski, who had to work out of a massive hole in the top of the first inning, appears to have a massive lead behind her. Again, this is a very ferocious offensive lineup for the Bruins, so nothing is done just yet. But for Lauren Durkowski, what do you think's going through her mind now that she feels like she's a cushion behind her for the first time in the series?
It's a very different style of pitching. When you're pitching with only a deficit or a tie game or even a one-run lead, you're pitching tense, right? You're trying to avoid the big hit at all costs. But now with a 4-run lead, you're pitching more to contact. You're trusting your defense. You're trying to pitch strikes as quickly as possible. We saw her fall behind in the first inning a lot to these UCLA hitters. I wouldn't be surprised if she jumps ahead. A lot of quick outs, and even allowing hits is all right with that 4-run lead. But you're trusting your defense. You're trusting that your middle infield, your outfield can make plays behind you, and you have a buffer to work with.
Just about to get set here in the top of the second inning. The leadoff batter will be Riley Slimp, who came in to left field just a second ago.
Slimp has played a lot this season. She started on Saturday, been a contributor, but just didn't start in the game.
First pitch from Durkowski is a strike down the middle.
But UCLA likely going to use that return rule in college softball, that players can return to the game once after they've been taken out. These starters, I imagine it's not the last we see them, especially if the game gets any closer.
Here's the 0-1 to Slimp. That's on the outside corner for strike number 2. Durkowski quickly ahead, 0-2 to Riley Slimp.
I mentioned it a second ago. I think Durkowski's going to attack with this lead. She's pitching for strikes, pitching for contact. Surprise Slimp didn't take a hack at any of those first 2 pitches.
Payoff pitch from Durkowski. That's high and outside for ball 1, trying to get her to chase there.
Now that you're up 0-2, you can expand the zone. Slimp doesn't want to watch 3 strikes go by her. She's likely to take a swing at an 0-2 or 1-2 pitch. I wouldn't be surprised if this one's now low in the dirt for a swing.
Here's the 1-2 changeup on the ground. Misdirection off Durkowski's glove, and Slimp reaches first base safely. Indiana Langford trying to get the ball originally moving towards second, but Durkowski trying to make a play on the ball causes misdirection, and the Bruins have a leadoff single. So 1 runner on, no out once again for the Bruins. Caitlin Terry, the outfielder turned pitcher, now in the batter's box. Here's a pitch to Terry, outside for ball number 1. Terry, sophomore, batting .286 this season with just a 1 home run, 17 RBIs. She also has 5 doubles this season. UCLA just trying to inch back, as you saw with the Wolverines quickly getting to a 5-1 lead in the first inning. Anything's possible in this game, especially between a juggernaut like the Bruins and an amazingly solid program in the Wolverines.
Another delay here. UCLA playing chess, trying to get to optimize their strategery. There was maybe a pinch runner. They didn't elect to use one there.
1-0, swing and a miss for Terry. She just did not see that one, as Durkowski's fastball just went right by her. 1-1 to Terry. So once again, Slimp on first base, 1-1 count to Caitlin Terry. Durkowski in the circle. Here's the pitch, and that's high. Valamont quickly gets up and prevents Slimp from reaching second. The Bruins are not shy on the base paths.
Slimp 2 for 3 on the season on stolen bases. Down 4 runs. I think base runners are more valuable than advancing runners, but I could be wrong.
Here's the 2-1, and that's low. Changeup misses outside. 3-1 count to Terry.
Something I've noticed is when these Bruin hitters square to bunt and pull back, Durkowski tends to miss the zone. So they might have figured that out. They're showing bunt, trying to force balls out of Durkowski and just get base runners on base.
Here's the 3-1 to Terry, and Terry skies one, playable for the left fielder, Sealer, and she kicks it quickly in to the infield for out number 1. Nice play there from Sealer, making magic on offense, now making plays on defense. 1 out here, top of the second inning. Jessica Clements back up to the plate.
She walked and scored in the first, the only run for UCLA thus far. Worked her way around the base paths, ended up at home.
First pitch is outside, and then Valamont threw it to nobody at second base. There was no movement by Slimp. She remains at first, so it was to no avail, but Valamont, thinking that Slimp was running, Slimp decided not to, but neither the shortstop McVeigh or the second baseman Langford ran to second base.
Slimp having a laugh about that, looking at the dugout.
Here's the 1-0. That's high and outside for ball 2 to Clemens.
She takes a large secondary lead off first base, almost stunted on that time that Valamont threw to center. But Valamont just wanted a nice game of catch with Janisa Conway.
2-0 count to Jessica Clemens. As you said, she had walked in the first. She also was the lone run scored for the Bruins. Facing a 2-0 count. Here's the pitch. That's down the middle for strike number 1. Beautiful fastball right there from Lauren Durkowski.
This UCLA team doesn't strike out much, haven't struck out today, and I think that might be bailing Durkowski out. They're not getting to these deep counts and kind of putting the ball in play early on.
2-1 is swung on and missed from Clemens, so 2-2 count now from Durkowski, firing back 2 fastballs to get the count back even. And that's a good point right there. Just a lot of weaker contact we've been seeing from this Bruins team through the first 9-ish batters. Here's the 2-2, and that just misses just outside. They're going to call it for ball 3. That could have been a strike very easily. Nonetheless, it's a full count here for Jessica Clemens.
With this 4-run lead, these hitters, the Clemens and Pola, are crucial to get out. You want to pitch to contact. You want them to put the ball in play. You don't want them on base for Woolery and Grant.
Full count pitch. That goes outside for ball 4, so Clemens gets walked for the second time today, draws her second walk of the day, and the Bruins have 2 on, 1 out here at the top of the second inning for Savannah Pola.
Yeah, I think that's a mistake for Durkowski. Durkowski wanted to put Clemens in play or away, and instead she's on base with better power hitters coming up to the plate.
Pola 1 for 1 on the day. First pitch to her is high and outside. Valamont calls time, and now we're going to get another visit here in the pitcher circle.
Yeah, Associate Head Coach Jennifer Brundage kind of manages the pitching for the Wolverines. Going to have a talk with Durkowski. Been in trouble each of these first 2 innings. With this buffer that the Wolverines have given her, you can pitch more aggressively, but you don't want to leave 3 base runners on for Megan Grant or Jordan Woolery, because that's just a tie ball game. Should they do what they're known for doing, put that over the fence. So they're trying to figure out how to maybe get a grounder, maybe turn 2 here, and get balls in play to the soft contact middle infielders.
Savannah Pola 1 for 1 on the day. Her batting average up to .444. As you said, another one of these power hitters on this team with 8 home runs, 42 RBIs. And looking at the Wolverine defense, Sealer, Conway, and Stevenson are the outfielders from left to right. Maddie Erickson with McVeigh, Langford, and Ramey going from the infield, third, shortstop, second, and first base respectively, with Durkowski in the circle and Valamont behind the plate. So 1-0 count to Savannah Pola. Here's the pitch. That's outside for ball 2.
When you're playing Monopoly as a kid, you know the late in the game, you're trying to roll an exact number to find a safe square, right? You don't want to land on that hotel, that house, that fine spot. There's no safe square for this Bruin lineup.
2-0 count. That is blasted deep right center field. Say goodbye to that one. Home run for Savannah Pola, a 3-1 shot. And just like that, the Bruins are back in this game. And the score is now 5-4 Wolverines.
This might be a shootout here today, Jake. That buffer, that pillow that Durkowski had has quickly gone away. She allowed base runners ahead of Pola. You don't want base runners ahead of that 2, 3, 4 in the order. That's why it was so crucial to put Clemens in play and so crucial to get Slimp out, and she didn't do that and got punished.
So Pola sends that one over the wall. First pitch to Jordan Woolery is a strike. But yes, we were talking all in between innings, Theo, about the buffer that Durkowski had, a 4-run lead, but no lead is safe with any team, especially one of the best teams in the country, and UCLA, his offense has broken through here in the second. Pitch to Woolery, That sky down the third base line, just out of play, out of reach for McVeigh and Erickson.
Would have been in reach had that net not been there, but it came down just on the wrong side of the net.
So 0-2 count to Woolery, 1 out here in the top of the second inning. Wolverines leading 5-4. We have a lot of runs scored already in this one. 3 home runs hit among the two teams. Big pitch here for Durkowski. Here's the payoff to Woolery, and that is called strike 3. Got Woolery looking. Big strikeout for Durkowski, 2 out here in the second.
With 0-2, pitchers generally look to expand the zone, try to get hitters to reach. That's what Woolery was thinking, but that was fastball right down the middle. Woolery caught looking, didn't think that was going to be a strike, likely looking all the way there.
So 2 out for Megan Grant, another big power hitter for this team. First pitch is a strike down the middle. Grant walked in her first plate appearance, leading to bases loaded, allowing UCLA to score 1 of its 4 runs. Grant, .405 batting average this season. Here's the 0-1, and Grant takes a big hack and skies that one foul out of play behind her.
Durkowski having a lot more success ahead in the count. Pola was ahead 2-0 when she hit that home run. But then with Woolery and now with Grant, Durkowski's gone ahead 0-2. And that induces weaker contact and more strikeouts like we just saw with Woolery.
Payoff pitch, that's in the dirt. Grant does not go. 1-2 count to Megan Grant. Nice change up there from Durkowski. So here he is, 1-2 count, Megan Grant. Here's the pitch. And she flies that playable center field. On the way is Janisa Conway to make the catch for out number 3. Wolverines still lead, but UCLA gets 3 back. Michigan leads 5-4 as we enter the bottom of the second.
Yeah, Grant just a little out in front. Durkowski went change up. Grant tried to sit back as long as she could, but off of the end of the bat, flew it out to Conway. Easy play. Durkowski lets up some damage. Wolverines still clinging to a 1-run lead.
So now for Michigan, you score 5 in the first inning. You give up 3 more here in the second. You have a 1-run lead, just 4 hits apiece, and we've scored 9 runs already through an inning and a half of work. What do you think is going through some of these players' heads? What do you think is going through Coach Thol's head? Like, what is the game plan for Michigan trying to just maintain this lead even by their fingertips?
It's add-on right now. Right now, all it is add-on. McVeigh and Langford, who are the first 2 hitters up, are hitters that are just looking to get on base, right? If those 2, either of those 2 or both of those 2 can get on base, which McVeigh has struggled with a lot this season, can get on base and set the table for Conway, puts in the Stevenson, you can add on, right? That's the whole game plan here. You are maybe a little comfortable at 5-1. You are certainly not comfortable at this 5-4 checkpoint in the game right now. You have to stay aggressive as the Wolverines hitters.
So McVeigh, the 9-hole batter, will lead off here in the bottom of the second, and then it flips the top of the lineup. Indy Langford, Janisa Conway, Lauren Putz, followed by Ella Stevenson, Lily Valamont, Ellie Sealer, and then Maddie Erickson and Maddie Ramey are the 7 and 8 batters for the Wolverines. Ella McVeigh, the senior shortstop, batting .174 this season. It's not been amazing at the plate, but she's come through when Michigan has needed her with 1 home run, 8 RBIs. Just getting on base is the recipe for success right now. First pitch from Terry is fouled off, out of play for strike number 1.
Another saving grace here for the Wolverines is that you've already chased Taylor Tinsley, right? At least for the first time you've chased Taylor Tinsley. You have to assume she's going to re-enter this game later should it remain close. So you want to take advantage now of the maybe slightly weaker pitcher, Caitlin Terry, and stay aggressive. You say it's now or never, even though it's only the second inning.
So 0-1 count to McVeigh. Here's the pitch from Terry. Big swing and a miss for strike number 2. Again, Terry came into the game replacing Taylor Tinsley. First batter she faced was Maddie Erickson, and that led to a home run. almost able to get the out for Maddie Ramey. Here's the 0-2, and that's just outside for ball one. McVeigh looking for the slap hit. Decided to hold off.
She's switching it up. She didn't slap hit either of those first two pitches, and then this last pitch that she watched fly by her, she decided to run with the pitch and attempt to slap it, even though she watched it for a ball.
1-2. Here's the pitch. That's high for ball number 2. Catcher Mujica thought that would be strike 3.
She was ready to fire that ball around the horn.
She was. So 2-2 count to Ella McVeigh. Big spot here for the senior. Payoff pitch. She fouls that one off.
Again, alternating slap hitting and normal stance hitting. She slap hit on that one, got a piece of it at the very front of the batter's box, but she's mixing it up on this Bruin infield.
Even count. Here's the pitch, and that's just inside for ball number 3. UCLA not happy with the calls. The infield was approaching their pitcher, Terry. 2 very close pitches, both balls so far. Full count for McVeigh, payoff pitch from Terry, and that's in the dirt for ball 4. Really nice walk that Ella McVeigh just drew right there.
That's a huge plate appearance. Getting the 9-hole hitter that only has a .283 on base percentage on base with speed in front of the top of this lineup is crucial.
So leadoff walk for Ella McVeigh. Again, just a 174 hitter. Now you get Indy Langford up to the plate, who's batting over 400, so a massive difference. And now we get another change. So I believe Terry will now enter the dugout. We're getting another pitching change here. So we had some movement going in.
It'll likely be Addison Fisher. That's my guess. She's one of the Bruins' best pitchers, but we'll see what she does on the Wolverines side. McVeigh, since she doesn't reach base very often, Bonnie Thole electing to go with a pinch runner. I believe that's CeCe Thorington. CeCe Thorington, the pinch runner, adding some speed, getting her bench involved in the game, and allowing McVeigh to sit for a bit because they'll keep her in for her defense. On the Bruins side, that is Terry, I believe. Terry
yes.
in right field. So she's moving all around the diamond. A little Austin Romine action. Starting left, then pitched, and now going to right field, and there will be a new pitcher.
So a lot of movement here, as you just said. Terry moving back out to right field. Addison Fisher will be the new pitcher for the Bruins. So again, a lot of movement here. This is what the good teams do. They know how to utilize their lineups correctly. There's a lot of plan A, plan B, and even into plan E's for what could happen in this one. Terry had a rough start but is able to settle down. Now they move to Fisher in the circle.
Fisher from Bend, Oregon, pitched 4 innings yesterday.
Wow.
One of the best freshmen in the Big Ten. She's been very consistent, taking home Freshman of the Week multiple times, but she pitched 4 innings yesterday, shutout ball, 1 hit allowed, and carried this UCLA team. And now, sensing this game is close, no risks here for UCLA. They want to lock this game down. Head coach Kelly Inoue Perez trying to ensure this stays a 1-run game with the top of the order, quick runner on base. Interesting decision to pitch a pitcher twice in a row, though.
Very interesting indeed. Again, Addison Fisher into the circle. CeCe Thorington, if you had missed it from Theo, is now the pinch runner for Ella McVeigh.
It's not even 2 straight days. It's 3 straight days.
Wow.
She got the save on Saturday.
My arm would be dead.
4 scoreless innings yesterday, and now is in another high-intensity ball game here at Carol Hutchins Stadium, trying to shut down these Wolverines.
Langford back in the box. Runner on first, no out. First pitch is outside for ball 1. Langford reached on a leadoff double to start the bottom of the first inning for the Wolverines. She ended up scoring to be the first of the 5 runs scored for Michigan. Here's the one on the Langford. That's out of the glove, and Thorington steals second safely. Mujica just popped out of the glove of hers and Thornton took off the second that ball hit the dirt. So now runner on second, no out for Langford, 2-0 count.
Makes it harder for the left side of the infield to deal with those ground balls from Langford.
2-0, that finds a strike zone. Strike number 1 down the middle for Langford.
Because now Thornton is a threat to steal third. Shortstop and the third baseman have to pay attention to that third base bag. And now Woolery at third can't be as close.
Here's the 2-1. Langford just tips that one foul, looking for the slap hit. Again, Woolery is playing at third base with Bragg at short for UCLA, both playing very in, as you said, Theo. There potentially could be an open third base here for Thornton.
Langford just trying to advance Thornton to third for Janisa Conway. That's the mindset here. Productive out.
2-2, that's outside. Full count for Indy Langford. Michigan holding on to a slim 5-4 lead. Full count here. Thornton on second. Here's the payoff, and she slaps that one right to the third base, and Woolery on to first to Grant, and Langford gets out for out number 1. Thornton remains on second base.
Hit that one too hard. Found Woolery very quickly, watched Thornton back to the bag, and then fired it low to Grant. Great play by Woolery. Had Thornton not advanced to second, that could have been 2 outs on a double play.
Very easily. Here's Janisa Conway. First pitch is low for ball number 1. Conway walked her first plate appearance, then scored shortly after. 380 average, and she has an opportunity for another RBI. Here's the pitch. She fouls that one off. Conway had a big swing right there. 1-1 count to the sophomore center fielder.
Conway likes those low pitches. She's able to get under them and lift them high into the air. But she's reached a few times early on in this game. It's gone off the end of the bat on pitches that likely would have been balls below the zone.
Conway fouls off the next pitch she sees into the stands over the Bruins dugout. So 1-2 count to Conway. Just trying to put this one in play. Anything pretty much to the right side should allow Thornton to try to move to third. Here's the 1-2, and Conway skies one. Shallow right field. In comes Terry, and Terry is able to make the play and prevent Thornton from approaching third base. So with a runner on second and no out, there was a ground out to third and a shallow fly ball to right, and Thornton's been stuck at second base. Lauren Putz now trying to score her teammate.
That's why Addison Fisher is such a good pitcher. She's flawless on the season, 15-0.
First pitch to Putz is outside for ball 1.
First save of her career was on Saturday, so the third straight game she's pitching, but 15-0 is a ridiculous stat line. Only 30 earned runs in 93 innings. Fantastic pitcher.
1-0 to Putz is fouled off inside part of her bat. Went behind her, so 1-1 count to Putz. Putz doubled in her first plate appearance, scoring 1. Then she was stranded at third to end the first inning. Opportunity here for another RBI, already 39 on the season, 11 home runs. Big season for the freshman, big spot. Here's the 1-1, that's outside for ball number 2. Puts his batting average up to .396, and she has 14 doubles to go along with that one. Here's the 2-1 to Putz, and she grounds that one foul down the first base line.
One of those doubles was in the first inning. She had an RBI double that kind of spun away from Caitlin Terror, who's now in right field after pitching, after starting in left field.
A lot of changes if you're just joining us for the Bruins lineup. Here's the 2-2 to Putz, and she sends that one right to the first base, Grant, who makes a good catch for out number 3. Good heads-up play there by Megan Grant to keep Thornton stranded at second. Wolverines maintain a 5-2 lead as we enter the top of the third.
That's huge to hang a 0 on the scoreboard. First 0 of the ball game, and now another massive change. Erin Hain in the circle for the Wolverines. Durkowski pulled early, maybe mimicking that strategy of pulling your ace like the Bruins did with Taylor Tinsley, and pitching the pitcher from yesterday who had a lot of success. Erin Hain up, trying to replicate that success from yesterday.
As you just said, Aaron Hayne pitching yesterday, now in the circle. Durkowski giving up the 3-run shot in the second inning, allowing the Bruins to get back into this game. Again, it was still very early on, so a lot of game still left, but this is going to be a game of a lot of changes between both these teams late in the season. UCLA fighting for the #1 spot in the Big Ten, Michigan fighting for a bid not just in the Big Ten tournament, but also in the NCAA tournament. So both teams going to play a lot of mental games.
Looking to avoid their 4th straight series that ended in a sweep one way or another. Oregon and Ohio State swept the Wolverines, and the Wolverines swept Rutgers in the middle of that. And now UCLA has a chance in this 3rd game to sweep the Wolverines. Aaron Hayne pitched yesterday against these same Bruins. 8 innings.
Wow.
In a 7-inning game, 8 innings. It went into extras, allowed 4 runs. 3 of them were earned, but really fantastic work. Pitching 8 innings one day, coming back and facing that same team the next is no easy task.
Definitely not, especially against the #7th ranked team in the country and a team that you've lost to already twice this season. Kanaya Bragg in the box. First pitch she sees, those she skies. Playable, I believe, in center field as Conway makes the catch. That went to the warning track. Nice play by Conway to track that one down for out #1.
Conway using her left arm to feel for that wall. She never ran into it. Raised her right arm, made the catch. Allowed out #1, but they all count the same in the scorebook.
Alexis Ramirez now back up to the plate. First pitch she sees, she gets ahead of that one and pushes that one foul down the 3rd base line.
So you can see the scouting report for these Bruins. 2 pitches, 2 big hacks. They saw Hayne yesterday. They're very comfortable. This is not an unfamiliar face. 8 innings, and now they see her again. They've decided to be aggressive early on.
Next pitch to Ramirez is in the dirt for ball #1. Alexis Ramirez had an RBI single in the 1st inning. Scored her teammate Clements. Only run UCLA scored that inning, but then came back for 3 in the 2nd. Here's the 1-1. That's high and inside for ball 2 from Hayne. And Aaron Hayne with a 2.86 ERA this season, a 1.18 whip. Next pitch is down the middle for strike #2. Even count to Alexis Ramirez. 1 out. Here's the pitch. That's high for ball 3.
So now some patience from Ramirez. A full count after being aggressive early on. Watching 4 straight pitches go by her. Hayne not trying to let these Bruins reach base.
Full count. That gets grounded to Langford on to first. Is the out to Ramey. 2 outs here in the top of the 3rd.
That's the right thing to do. If you're facing a hitter like Ramirez, who's no slouch herself, but definitely not like the hitters at the top of the order, you wanna get them as soon as you can. You want to make sure they put the ball in play and you don't give them free bases.
So 2 outs here, top of the 3rd inning, 5-4 Wolverines lead. Mujica, the freshman catcher, at the plate. First pitch she sees is in the dirt for ball #1.
The second time the catcher spot's been up today for the Bruins, and it's the 2nd hitter. Started with Maggie Daniel, and now it's Mujica.
Next pitch, she skies to left field. Should be playable for Sealer in the warning track, and she makes the catch for out #3. Few hard hits against Aaron Hayne, but no one on the base pass. 3 up, 3 down. Wolverines back up to bat at the bottom of the 3rd.
That's huge because that's 3 batters, 3 outs, and you don't allow Woolery and Grant and Pola to get up, right? The less amount of times you can face them, the better. And they escape that. The Wolverines escaped that inning without even any trouble. No sweat, top of the 3rd.
Fisher back in the circle for another inning of work. Very strong when she was put into the game. So there was a tumble out in right field during
Potato sack race.
Potato sack race. Got a lot of groans from the crowd. Hopefully everyone is okay. It is just the most perfect day here in Ann Arbor, Michigan. End of April. It's great that you're still here, Theo. I know a lot of students have already gone home. 72 degrees, blue skies everywhere. This is the most perfect time of year. And Theo, if you ever get a chance to be in Ann Arbor in the summer, I always highly recommend it to anybody because it is just the best weather, and a lot of students, unfortunately, miss it on all 4 years they come to the University of Michigan because leaving super early.
As a freshman, this is – I wish this came about a month earlier. That's what I'll say, Jake.
I always say that.
It was snowing in mid-April, and now it's in the 70s and sunny. So that's, I guess, a nice welcome to Michigan for me. But it's really fantastic out here. Perfect baseball, softball weather, and a great day. For finals. My
parents were joking. They say they have to pull the winter coats out for graduation this weekend. It's going to be a low of 32. It'll be a high of 50. But my brother goes to school in Arizona and joked with us that he doesn't think he even has anything near a jacket to bring out here. So we'll see how they fare, but we'll be perfectly content with this weather. Ella Stevenson in the box. First pitch she sees. She flies one foul and out of play for strike number 1. Stevenson flied out her first plate appearance, facing Fisher for the first time. Here's the 0-1, and that's high and inside for ball number 1.
Stevenson flew out, but it was a productive out. Puts advance to third on her fly out. It's not a sacrifice fly since she didn't score, but it was productive.
Stevenson takes the next pitch, goes out to left field. Slimp is under it, blocking the sun with her glove, and makes the catch for out number 1.
These pitchers, Fisher and Hain, dueled yesterday really effectively, and today they're going at it again. They probably didn't expect it, but it's the last game of the series. You can throw everything you have today, and the respective coaches are electing to go with the aces from yesterday.
Lily Valamont up to the plate. First pitch is in the dirt for ball number 1. She had a fielder's choice in her first plate appearance that led to a tag at home plate. She reached first and then scored the next batter later on a home run. Next pitch is a big rip, swing and a miss for strike number 1 as Mujica is now bent over in a little bit of pain. I believe the swing of the bat.
It was a foul tip, I think. It just moved the ball slightly out of the way of her glove.
That was a big rip from Valamon, and it looked like either it was a foul tip or just the bat swing forced just a little bit of misdirection, forcing Mujica to lose track of the ball for a second. Just quick stoppage here to check on her, the two UCLA coaches.
Mujica into that game, I believe because Maggie Daniel wasn't fielding very well. A lot of balls were missing her glove and giving the Wolverines free bases. So the head coach of the Bruins didn't want to see any more of that and elected to put Mujica, the veteran, back there. And Daniel can return to the game, so the Bruins aren't out of options should Mujica not be able to continue. But that's why Mujica's in this ballgame right now.
UCLA 3 freshman catchers on this team. Mujica and Daniel, both catchers. You also have Jayla Castro, a senior. And Munoz, who's also a catcher and a freshman. So right now, Mujica back there. The freshman has been much better behind the dish. Here's the 1-1 to Valamont. Big swing and a miss on the changeup, 1-2.
Valamont sitting fastball, trying to catch up to that speed of Addison Fisher, and she was fooled.
So ahead of the count is Fisher. Here's the 1-2. That's high and outside for ball number 2. Count now even to Lily Valamont. Valamont dealing with a lot of knee issues in high school, even into her freshman season. Right now she's healthy. Here's the 2-2 in the dirt for ball number 3. She came into one of my classes last semester, an NIL class that we have, to talk about her experiences and her battles that she's been able to get through everything. She coins her own term called against all odds, and she's standing right here in a full count as she rolls one foul down the third base line. Woolery tried to play it, but it went just foul before she touched the ball. Count remains full.
Bonnie Thole, the third base coach, was the first one to signal that went foul. Wanted to ensure an extra chance for Valamont.
So big spot here for Valamont. Full count, 2 out here. Bottom of the third inning. Wolverines hanging on to a 1-run lead. Here's the pitch, and she, I believe, just got a tip of that one to stay alive.
Good two-strike hitting by Valamont, taking a hack at anything close, staying alive. And these at-bats really get to you as a pitcher. You want to win these. If Valamont can get on base with a walk or a hit, it's a huge mental win and something to shake up Addison Fisher's confidence.
So big two-strike hitting here for Valamont. Here's the payoff, and that finds the outside corner for strike number 3.
Frozen was Valamont. Fisher is on cruise control right now.
Addison and Fisher, another strikeout. And my apologies, scoreboard was wrong. That was the second out of the inning, so 2 outs here for Ellie Sealer. No runners on base. First pitch to Sealer is high and outside for ball number 1.
Sealer, that tank that blew the game open in the first inning. 2-run shot deep to right field. Looking to replicate that, but Fisher knows to keep the ball down in the zone to avoid big swings from Sealer.
And that's exactly what she's doing. 2 pitches in the dirt, 2-0 count to the senior left fielder. Again, that big home run shot blew this game open in the first. Next pitch to her is inside. A lot of wicked movement there from Addison Fisher, but cannot find the strike zone. 3-0 count to Ellie Sealer.
This is the respect you gain by hitting that home run. You don't want to give her anything else in the zone. That's why she's ahead 3-0.
Looking for a strike. Here's the pitch from Fisher, and that misses for ball number 4. So Ellie Sealer draws a 4-pitch walk with 2 outs, and Maddie Erickson steps back up to the plate,
who also went yard in the first inning. Sealer and Erickson went back-to-back, and now Sealer's aboard. Should Erickson do that again?
Really causing this game to get out of control in the first inning where these 2 batters, Erickson sending that one over the left field wall, her first plate appearance. Now as a runner on first base, 2 outs. See what she can do from Fisher. Here's the first pitch. Big swing and a miss. My apologies, she got a piece of that one, cut foul for strike number 1 nonetheless.
Sealer 2 for 2 on stolen bases this season with 2 outs. I wouldn't be surprised if she went.
0-1. Erickson puts that in the air. Slip on it, though. She makes the catch in left field for out number 3. So a clean inning once again for the Bruins. Good pitching there by Addison Fisher. Michigan still leads 5-4.
Wolverines yet to figure out Addison Fisher. And that's why she's still in the game. Kelly Inoya Perez knows that she has the Wolverines number this far and keeping her in this ball game, trying to keep the Bruins at a 1-run deficit.
Fisher came in to her UCLA career with a lot of accolades herself, as many of the players that we've mentioned this entire game. Especially for her, she was ranked as the #1 player in the signing class by Softball America in 2024. Perfect game, extra innings, everyone ranked her as some of the best in the country, and you're seeing why right here. Again, pitching for the number 7th ranked team in the country, and she has just been lights out for this Bruins team.
Pitched for Team USA in 2024 through a 7-inning shutout against Canada. Has the experience in the big moments from Bend, Oregon, staying on the West Coast. And she's shutting down the Wolverines right now. She has a no-hitter just about a month ago at Howard. It wasn't a 7-inning no-hitter. It was a 5-inning no-hitter, but still a no-hitter nevertheless.
Still counts on the stat sheet, exactly. This Bruins team, this Bruins pitching staff has just been amazing all season long. As you said, with the no-hitter, not just from her, but multiple others on this team, as we're back underway here. Top of the 4th inning. Riley Slimp up at bat. As Hain back in the circle.
Slimp reached last time and came around to score on that home run by Pola.
Next pitch Slimp sees is a strike, so 1-1 count to Riley Slimp.
She had that single off of the glove of Lauren Durkowski, and that fluke play is a run when there's a homer later in the order.
Slimp lines one into center field for a base hit. So Slimp coming into the game in a range of substitutions early in this one, already 2 for 2.
Yeah, no doubt about that one. That was a rocket up the middle, over the head of a Hain, but easily dropping before Conway. No chance for any Wolverine to get there. Been a thorn in the side thus far.
So Slimp aboard on first base. Terry back up at bat. First pitch to Terry is high and outside, and Valamont quickly pops up to keep Slimp at bay at first.
Valamont been very paranoid of Slimp today. Threw a ball into center field when Slimp was parked on first base last time, and Slimp only 2 for 3 on stolen bases this season.
Bunt is laid down from Terry. Erickson onto first is off the mark for Indy Langford. Ball goes into right field, and that is where the runners will stop. So nice bunt there from Caitlin Terry. She's played 2 outfield positions today, and she's pitched, and now she's placed runners on corners with no out here for Jessica Clements.
Chaos ball. That's what the Bruins are doing right now. A single and then a bunt that gets a runner from first to third and a runner on first for, guess who, the top of the order, causing headaches for the Wolverines all game long. And now there's a meeting at the mound. We'll see if they bring in Durkowski or a different reliever.
A few options here for the Wolverines. Coach Thole talking to her pitcher. As you had said, Theo, Hain had already pitched 8 innings yesterday. She has had a lot of time here in the circle this weekend, but she's going to be given more of it. She'll stay in the game for now. Coach Thole trusting her pitcher. This team has really only thrown out Hain and Durkowski for most of the season. They have a few relief pitchers they've utilized as well, but Coach Thole, she can have it her way. She just wants to rock with these two. First pitch is a stolen base attempt. Nice cutoff by Indy Langford, but the runner still gets to second. That's Caitlin Terry. So Langford trying to cut the ball off, trying to get a play at the plate to Slimp, but actually allowed Terry to get to second base safely. So runners on second and third for Clements. And Clements skies one into right center field. Playable for Conway. Conway will try to get to third base. Play at third. Hits Terry. And the runner will score, and Terry will reach safely at third.
So that stolen base that Bonnie Thole talked about in her circle visit, she discussed if the runner tries to steal from first to second, we're going to try to cut her at home. Got a free base for the Bruins, and now that free base ends up on third with that sac fly.
So sac fly allows a run to score and the runner to move from second to third. Savannah Pola back up to the plate. She had a big shot her second plate appearance for a big 3-run homer and singled in the first. So she's 2 for 2 on the day, 9th home run on the season. 5-5's your score. Runner on third base, 1 out for Savannah Pola. Here's the 1-0. That's high for ball 2. So in a game that started off 1-0 UCLA at the top of the first inning, Michigan battled back for 5 runs in the bottom of the first. UCLA, though, then came right back once again for 3 more top of the second, and now we're here at 5-5. Next pitch Savannah Pola sees is a strike for the first strike of her at-bat. 2-1 count to Pola.
The leading run on third. A healthy fly ball should score her.
2-1. Pola fouls that one back for strike number 2. Infield playing in. Even count here for Pola.
Power from that second base position along with speed is a lethal combo. It's close to a 5-tool player as you can get.
2-2. Pola flies one into center field. Playable for Janisa Conway. She makes the catch, play at the plate. It gets in really quickly and prevents Terry from movement from third to home. Nice play there. Janisa Conway getting into Lily Valamont. 2 out here. Runner remains at third.
So I would see Conway in center. She has an amazing arm. Had a chance to actually gun the runner, Terry, moving from second to third on the previous batter, but it hit Terry. That one, no chance for Terry had she gone home.
2 out, 5-5 is your score. Terry is on third. First pitch to Jordan Woolery is outside for ball number 1. Again, Woolery coming into the day batting well over 420. She was batting 429, now down to 423, 0 for 2 on the day with a flyout and a strikeout. Here's the 1-0 to Woolery, and that's down the middle for strike number 1. UCLA dugout now getting into it. Woolery 1-1 count, 2 out, runner on third. We have a tie game in the top of the 4th inning. Here's the 1-1. Woolery fouls that one, completely pulled it very much ahead on the pitch from Aaron Hain.
Now if you're Hain, you want to make Woolery expand. You're likely not going to get a strikeout. Only 10 on the season for Woolery, but you can try to induce some soft contact and an easy out. You don't want to allow the big hit with 2 outs.
Here's the 1-2. That's high for ball number 2.
Exactly what she did. Tried to pop her up by going up in the zone, went a little too high. Woolery too good to swing at that pitch.
Even count here for Aaron Hain. What does she decide to do here to Woolery? Here's the payoff, and that's just inside for ball 3. Crowd was not happy with that call. Does appear to be the right call, though. So full count to Woolery. First and second base are open. Full count, 2 outs, runner on third. Here's the pitch, and Woolery pulls that one foul once again down the third base line.
Woolery staying alive. Again, it's a full count, but the on-deck batter is Megan Grant. So you're not out of the woods, even if she walks. You have 2 strikes on a hitter ahead of Megan Grant. You want to retire her. It's that simple.
2 big hitters up at bat. Here's the pitch to Woolery, and that's down the middle for strike 3. Big punch out there from Aaron Hain to get out of the inning. Wolverines give up only 1. We're tied entering the bottom of the 4th.
Hain did exactly that with 2 strikes, retired Woolery. Now she'll face Megan Grant with no one on base, and that's a huge strikeout to get with a runner on third. Keep this game tied. It's a mental thing. You're tied. It's a 0-0 ball game again, and now you have more outs to play with. It's the bottom of the 4th.
Addison Fisher back in the circle for another inning of work. So far, she's pitched 2 innings, has 1 walk, 1 strikeout, 30, my apologies, no hits she is allowed. ERA down to 2.21.
Fisher has a 1.22 whip, so allowing just over 1 total base runner per inning. That's why she's been so effective. She doesn't give up the easy bases. 87 strikeouts to just 37 walks on the season. Pounds the strike zone and gets soft contact. Only 5 home runs allowed.
Yeah, 95 innings pitched. Just a lot of pitching this season for Addison Fisher, and you see why she has been so successful. She'll face Maddie Ramey to start, followed by Ella McVeigh, and then back to the top of the lineup with Indy Langford. Ramey grounded out in her first plate appearance.
Hard grounder to first.
Was indeed good play there by Grant that last time up. First pitch to Maddie Ramey is a breaking ball low for ball number 1. Michigan looking to capitalize here. Game finally tied back up. Here's the pitch to Ramey, and that hits her. That looked like it hurt really badly. That hit her on the arm, kind of turning out of the way, so Ramey will take first base. Leadoff hit by pitch. Wolverines 1 runner on. No out for Ella McVeigh.
Ramey will take that free pass the hard way, But she's on base as represents the leading run. Brings up Ella McVeigh, senior out of Des Moines, Iowa. Just a defensive captain for the Wolverines, but produced some offense earlier on with a walk.
Walked in the second. First pitch to McVeigh is on the ground. Unclear if they're going to call it foul. Now they do call it foul. It was quickly picked up by Woolery. Very short third baseline, but said that she picked it up right in foul territory. So just count as a foul ball. 0-1 count to McVeigh. Ramey on first. McVeigh, a slap hitter. My apologies, Theo. Here's the 0-1. Pulls back the bunt. 1-1 the count to McVeigh.
Third baseman Woolery playing about halfway down that third base line, cutting off so much space between McVeigh and her, trying to make a quick play at second or first.
Shows bunt, then pulls back. Ball is low, so 2-1 count to McVeigh. McVeigh showing a lot of different signals, trying to confuse Addison Fisher, trying to do anything to try to get the Wolverines back on the board here. 2-1 count. Here's the pitch. Shows bunt and pulls back once again. 3-1 count now to the senior shortstop.
Fisher does not want to walk McVeigh. I say it every time. You have a 9-hole hitter who's hitting 194 on the season. You do not want to walk her.
3-1. McVeigh lays the bunt down, but it goes foul. So full count now to the senior 9-hole hitter. Full count, runner on first, no out here in the bottom of the fourth inning. We are tied in Ann Arbor, Michigan, Alumni Field, Carol Hutchins Stadium.
Walk is just about best case scenario for McVeigh here.
Here's the payoff, and McVeigh just gets a piece of that one to stay alive. Trying with the slap hit, goes foul. 3-2 remains the count.
As a hitter, it's hard to look up at that scoreboard, see a bunch of 300s, 400s, 200s, and then you're hitting 174, batting ninth.
Here's the payoff, and that goes down the middle for strike number 3. McVeigh caught looking for out number 1. So McVeigh trying to work around a long pitch count there for Addison Fisher, but Fisher wins the battle that time. Indy Langford back up to the plate. Woolery also playing halfway down the line. First pitch is outside for ball number 1.
McVeigh got ahead 3-1, and then Fisher just pounded 3 straight fastballs right down the middle, saying, do something with it, and McVeigh didn't.
Jordan Woolery playing very in. Next pitch is put on the ground and foul by Indy Langford. She also tried to bunt, and these Wolverine batters are not scared by Woolery playing practically right in their face. They're still willing to put that bunt down and trying to move Ramey over from first to second.
Yeah, it's an interesting decision in a game that's this close to give up outs to advance runners. I've never been a fan of it.
1-1. Langford pulls back. Ramey stays at first. 2-1 count now to Indy Langford. Again, the junior doubled her first plate appearance, then grounded out in the second inning. Batting .406 as the leadoff hitter. Here's the 2-1 to the second baseman, and she puts it on the ground. Right to Fisher. Play at first is out, but Ramey moves to second, so Langford does her job. 2 outs, runner on second base for Janisa Conway. So Wolverines still playing small ball, even though they know UCLA knows their own plans. Woolery now playing right next to the third base bag.
Conway 0 for 1 with a walk and a run in the first.
First pitch to Conway is low and outside for ball number 1. Conway does have some pop to her game. 16 home runs, not some. She has a lot of pop to her game. My apologies. 16 home runs, 9 doubles, 2 triples. Next pitch in the dirt for ball number 2.
With 2 outs and Ramey taking a large secondary lead, any hit to the outfield, Ramey will be trying to score. Bonnie Thole will put the wave on.
2-0 count to Conway. Here's the pitch. That's outside for ball number 3. Conway already has drawn 23 walks this season to 18 strikeouts. She has a 3-0 count she's facing with 2 outs and her teammate Maddie Ramey on second. Here's a 3-0, and she fouls that one off into the Bruins dugout. 3-1 count to the center fielder.
Green light with 3-0 with 2 outs. Makes sense. One of the Wolverines' best hitters. If she can find a pitch she likes to hit, she puts some power on it. So Bonnie Thole saying, swing, go ahead, try to score that run because you can't score her with a walk.
Conway playing back in the batter's box. Here's the 3-1, and Conway puts that one on the ground. Easy play for the second baseman, Pola, and that will be the 3rd out of the inning. Score remains tied. We're tied up here in Ann Arbor, Michigan, 5-5 as we enter the top of the 5th. So game with a lot of runs scored in the first inning and a half of the frame. Now, so far, Wolverines have put up 3 straight zeros, and Aaron Hain back in the circle for another inning of work.
Hain through 2 innings has allowed 1 hit, 1 run. It went unearned due to an error, and she has a strikeout in the 8 batters she has faced. Now with a tie game, it's possible the Wolverines could give Fisher her first loss of the season. She escaped that last inning, the 4th inning, without allowing a run, but she is now susceptible to that should the Wolverines end up winning this game.
Quick meeting in the circle. Hain back out in the circle. You have Erickson, McVeigh, Langford, and Ramey in the infield. Sealer, Conway, and Stevenson in the outfield with Valamont still behind the dish. No defensive substitutions so far for the Wolverines. Many, however, for the Bruins. It's a 5-5 game here as we enter the top of the 5th inning. Megan Grant will be the leadoff batter. That is not a way you really want to start off here for Hain. First pitch is inside for ball number 1. Grant has been pitched around for the most part in her first 2 plate appearances. A walk in the first and then a fly out in the second. But with her 22 home runs and 70 RBIs, anytime she puts bat to ball could be dangerous. Next pitch to her, she fouls off out of play for strike number 1. 1-1 count to Megan Grant.
Yeah, Grant 37 walks to 5 strikeouts on the season. She just does not strike out. You know she's going to put it in play. That's why you have to just try to limit the damage.
1-1 to Grant. Check swing. That's put in play. Hain on to first, and she decides to not throw. Megan Grant with an infield single here to lead off the top of the 5th.
What's crazy is that actually hurts her slugging percentage. She gets on base with a hit, and that hurts her slugging percentage. Hain slipped as she tried to plant her back right foot to fire to first. At that point, it was too late. Grant doesn't move that quickly, but that ball was hit so softly, and the infielders are back so far that she reached first easily.
So infield single here to start off the top of the 5th. Bragg, the freshman shortstop, now in the box. First pitch to her is down the middle for strike number 1.
Bruins getting great production from a freshman at a position that's crucial. Shortstop for the next few years in the foreseeable future.
0-1 is high for ball number 1, and exactly right. Bragg with a .325 average, just a freshman. It's going to be very scary for years to come, especially now with the expansion of the Big Ten, the West Coast. All these West Coast Big Ten teams have amazing softball programs as Bragg gets hit on the foot by Hain, so she'll take first base. So an infield single and now a hit by pitch allows the Bruins to have 2 runners on, no out here in the top of the 5th inning.
Hain in hot water one more time as there's going to be a pinch runner for Megan Grant. Reached base. Now she's on second. Does represent the leading run, and she will be pinch run 4.
Trying to see that number.
I believe it's Lauren Hatch.
So completely right about that. Lauren Hatch on second, Bragg on first. But before we get another pitch, we'll get another visit here. Talking to Aaron Hain.
Jen Brundage out to the circle, discussing pitching strategies and what the infield will do if it's hit in certain areas.
Alexis Ramirez is the batter. 1 for 2 today with a single, which was an RBI single in the first, and then a ground out in the third. She has a tie game, but 2 runners on and no outs, so a lot of options Alexis Ramirez can do here for the Bruins. But before we do that, I believe, will get finally another pitching change for the Wolverines. I believe Janelle Alakwa will come into the game, if not to pitch. It looks like she's going to warm up her arm, so it probably will be Alakwa to pitch. No, it won't be. Alakwa will come into second. Indy Langford will head to the dugout.
Very interesting decision to sub your second baseman with runners on first and second. But Langford can return and likely will when it's her turn in the order again.
So Hain stays in the circle. It's now Erickson, McVeigh, Alakwa, and Ramey. First pitch to Ramirez is low and inside. Valamont pops up to prevent the runners from advancing. 1-0 count to Alexis Ramirez.
That pitch was low, and since neither Bragg nor Ramirez are fast, there's an easy possibility to turn 2. She's trying to create soft contact on the ground.
Next pitch is outside for ball number 2.
If a ball is hit, is rolled over to McVeigh or Erickson, they're likely going to look to Alakwa to turn 2. Maybe that's why they made the substitution.
2-0 is inside for strike number 1. 2-1 count to Alexis Ramirez. Nice fastball there by Aaron Hain.
It's actually like the only reason I can picture Bonnie Thole making a substitution is she likes Alakwa's arm more than Langford's.
Ramirez looks to bunt, pulls back, and they're going to call it a strike anyway. 2-2 count now for Ramirez. Both runners got halfway down the line and they had to retreat as Alexis Ramirez decided to not place the bunt down. 2-2 count, 2 runners on, no out here, top of the 5th. Here's the payoff, and that gets poked foul down the third base line.
It's the exact type of pitch that Hain's looking for. Got her to roll over and ground it, but it was just foul.
So we continue. Erickson playing very close to the third base line. McVeigh normal territory. Next pitch is high as Hatch has to retreat every single time. She's gotten practically to McVeigh's spot, middle of the second and third bases, and has had to retreat, deciding not to run. Full count to Ramirez, 0 outs here. Here's the payoff, and that's low for ball 4. Alexis Ramirez works a walk to load the bases with no out here at the top of the 5th inning. Coach Thole electing to keep Aaron Hain in the game. And Sophia Mujica is now going to be the batter in a very opportune position here for the Bruins.
Both coaches trying to get every possible advantage with that return rule. Bragg, who is the runner on second, will now come out of the game for another pinch runner. And now if you're Aaron Hain and the Wolverines, it's again damage control. I know I've said it before, but you want to leave this inning down 1. You want to get outs on this play. You want to get 1 or maybe even 2 on this hitter right now, and you just can't allow a hit to keep the line moving.
So Taylor Stevens will be the pinch runner on second. So it's now going to be Hatch, Stevens, and Ramirez as the 3 runners on base. Aaron Hain still in the pitcher's circle as Coach Thole comes out to the umpire, potentially making a change as Hain takes her mask off. And we will finally get a pitching change here.
Emerson Aiken, who pitched well on Saturday. 2 innings of 1-run ball, pitched well against these Bruins. Going to face the bottom of the order for now, at least.
Aiken will come into the game now for the Wolverines. Another pitcher. She's a senior alongside Lauren Durkowski. They came into to Michigan together. They were freshman year roommates, lived just down the hall from me. Very good friend of mine as well. Aiken coming in a big spot here. Bases loaded, no out. Looking to shut these Bruin batters down.
Out of Henrico, Virginia. Righty pitcher. Again, looking to limit damage. Low pitches to get him to roll over.
So Aiken talking with Valamont. Everyone is now making sure that a fan is okay. A older woman has fallen, I believe, in the stands. So all the players, the umpires are all diverting their attention for a second. Hopefully this woman is okay. So apologies for the delay, making sure our fans here at Alumni Field are taken care of. Mujica the batter, Aiken the pitcher, bases loaded, no outs, tie game, top of the 5th. Big spot here. Here's the first pitch from Aiken. That's low for ball number 1.
You want to get ahead to Mujica. It's the 7, 8, 9 in the order. That's who's due up right now. Don't want to let it get to the top of the order with runs already getting in.
1-0 count to Mujica. Here's the pitch. That's just outside for ball number 2. That was a really close call. Aiken upset she could not get the call. 2-0 count to Mujica.
Aiken sped up her windup on that pitch, trying to catch Mujica a little off guard, switching up her tempo.
Need a strike. Here's the 2-0. That's put on the ground. Potential double play. Home plate is 1. To first is safe. So Erickson able to make the play at home plate for the force out. She actually elected to not step on third because she did not want there to be a tag at the plate. So Maddie Erickson makes the play at home plate to prevent the run from scoring. 1 out, bases loaded remain for Riley Slimp here on the top of the 5th.
Interesting decision. She could have spent half of a second stepping on third and probably would have got the out at home, but instead took the for sure force.
First pitch to Slimp is outside for ball number 1. Again, forces all around still. 1 out.
Slimp has 2 singles and 2 runs.
Erickson, McVeigh, Alakwa, Ramey are the infielders, and now we're going to get another substitution. Ramirez now gets subbed out on second, so UCLA taking out all their runners once they reach second base and put in someone else.
Actually trying to get everyone involved in the game. It's Seneca Curo, I believe it is, yes, who steps into second base.
All right, next pitch to Slimp is high and outside for ball number 2. So it'll be Stevens, Curo, and Mujica on the base paths. Emerson Aiken already getting 1 out, preventing a run, trying to get 2 more.
5-5 ball game.
Here's the 2-0. That finds a strike zone for strike number 1. And Riley Slimp, very productive at the plate today, already 2 for 2, despite coming into the game not starting. 2 singles up the middle. 2-1 count. Here's the pitch from Aiken, and she skies one. Playable for Conway at center field, but actually that's going to drop, and that's going to bounce away from Conway. 1 run scores, 2 run score, and that will be a 2 RBI double for Slimp, her 3rd hit of the day. UCLA takes a 7-5 lead.
Conway got an awful break on that ball. She slipped trying to come in, and then the ball bounced over her right shoulder, her glove side shoulder, instead of grabbing it on a hop and limiting it to 1 run. So 2-run score, and now there's no force anywhere but first.
A shallow pop fly, as you said. Conway, there is the sun bearing down at her in center field, but she hesitated for a second and then took a late break. And not only did the ball bounce in front of her, it bounced past her, and she had to retreat. So Slimp on second, Mujica on third. 2 runners come in to score. Caitlin Terry in the batter's box. First pitch to her is high and outside, ball 1. This UCLA team has been relentless all season long. They've been relentless in the series, going to extra innings yesterday and coming out with the win in 8 innings, and now have taken a 7-5 lead after being in a 5-1 hole after 1. Next pitch is skied up and foul. 1-1 count to Caitlin Terry.
Aiken trying to limit damage. There's runners on second and third. A healthy fly ball, again, should be a sacrifice fly, but the infield playing in.
Next pitch, Terry is low and inside for ball number 2. It was an off-speed pitch there by Emerson Aiken. Once again, Wolverines in their maize tops blue pants today. UCLA in their all blue uniforms today. We're here in Ann Arbor, Michigan, Carol Hutchins Stadium. Here's the 2-1 to Terry. That's high and outside for ball 3. Again, first base is open, so a walk would not be fully damaging. Emerson Aiken maybe just try to pitch around Caitlin Terry here, but need to get some outs. 3-1 count, 1 out. Slimp on second, Mujica on third. Here's a 3-1, and she lines that one into right field. That's going to score 1, potentially 2. Runner around third, Slimp comes in to score, and that's a 2 RBI single for Caitlin Terry. UCLA scoring 4 and potentially more here in the top of the 5th inning.
The Michigan pitchers have not been able to get outs in the bottom of the order for UCLA. We know the top of the order produces, and you have to get outs in the bottom of the order. When you can't do that, UCLA is going to score runs, and they have 9 of them.
9-5, the Bruins lead. It was 5-1 after 1 inning. UCLA has scored in 4 of 5 innings so far.
8 unanswered.
And still have 2 outs to play with here in the top of the 5th inning. You're right about that. 8 unanswered runs. Michigan has not scored since that first inning. UCLA put on 3 in the second. So steal attempt from Terry. Play at second is safe. Ella McVeigh put the tag on, but Terry slides in safely with 1 out. UCLA is another runner in scoring position.
That throw was there in time, but McVeigh wasn't. McVeigh was a little late to get over to the second base bag, and when she got there, she was way in front of it, so she had to get the ball and then reach for the tag, and by that time, the runner had already slid feet first into second.
0-1, big swing and a miss for strike number 2 is Jessica Clements. As I was saying, though, UCLA scoring 1 in the first, 3 in the second, 1 in the 4th, and so far 4 in the 5th. They take a 9-5 lead here, top of the 5th. 1 out, 0-2 count to Jessica Clements. Terry on second. Here's the pitch from Aiken, and that's down the first base line and foul. Ball bounced in play and then just foul before it gets to the first base. So the count will remain 0-2.
Still only 1 out in the top of the 5th. This game with 14 runs is taking a long time as stamina really being tested.
Here's the 0-2. That's line foul down the first base line out of play, potentially into the box seats. Second deck here by us. Clements battling here, sticking with an 0-2 count, fouling everything off. That time just got way ahead of it, but made some solid contact. Clements has walked every single time she's back up to the plate. Next pitch is fouled off the other way. 0-2 count. Walk in the first, walk in the second. Then a sacrifice fly in the 4th. So she officially has a 0-0 day so far. Remains with a .376 batting average. 0-2 to Clements. Here's the payoff. And that's low and inside for ball number 1. Wolverines trying to stop the bleeding. The Bruins have opened this game up back here in the 5th inning. We've had a lot of these momentum shifters. Here's the 1-2, bounce on the ground to Ramey at first. She tags first base. That will be all. Runner advances to third. So Terry stands on third, 2 out here in the top of the 5th.
Clements, the Cal Poly transfer, grounds out to first. It's a productive out, although with 2 outs, the only way that Terry on third would score is with a passed ball or wild pitch if there's an out.
Savannah Pola at the plate. First pitch is low for ball number 1. Pola 2 for 3, a single in the first. Then second inning, she had a 3-run shot to open the game up there and then flied out in the 4th. Here's the 1-0. On the ground to Ramey. Back-to-back plays for Maddie Ramey at first base to limit the damage. Nonetheless, UCLA tacks on 4 runs to take a 9-5 lead, and we enter the bottom of the 5th inning here at Alumni Field.
Ramey making 2 big athletic plays at first to limit damage. Still 4 runs in that inning and a 4-run lead for UCLA.
So big inning for the Bruins. Michigan has already shown that they can score a lot of runs in a short amount of time, scoring 5 in the first. They're going to need another first inning here to get back into this game. Already into the bottom of the 5th. It's getting a little bit later here at Alumni Field. It's the last home game for the Wolverines. They go to Minneapolis next weekend. To face the Golden Gophers before entering the Big Ten tournament, which is going to be played at West Lafayette, Purdue, May 7th through 10th, next Wednesday through Saturday. We should be on the call for that one. It is the end of the semester, the end of the school year, as we see some Big Ten Plus crew members on the board. It's in the end of the school year here, just some finals week. A lot of people going home this weekend. It's graduation this Saturday. Congratulations to all the seniors, I guess including myself, for graduating and moving on. Theo has a long time to be able to do this. This will be my last broadcast for WCBN. It's been a long and an amazing 4 years. It started at College Park in Maryland, calling some baseball my freshman year as the baseball beat writer for the Michigan Daily, and now we've had some amazing opportunities calling the game and calling games at Madison Square Garden and in Houston, Texas, and now we're here at Alumni Field to round out an amazing career I've had. Janisa Conway in the batter's box. First pitch is outside for ball number 1.
Illustrious career for the Jake Singer.
Thank you with that. It's been
His number might be retired in the WCBN studios.
It's been nothing else I could have ever hoped for. Lauren puts in the batter's box. Second pitch she sees is low. 2-0 count to Putz, the freshman. 1 for 2 on the day. Next pitch, she fouls down the first base line into the Michigan dugout. Thank you, everyone who's listening to us today, for supporting WCBN throughout my entire collegiate career. Here's the 2-1. She flies that one. That's going to be deep over the wall in right field. Home run. Lauren Putz. Michigan not out of this one yet. Caitlin Terry tried tracking that one down. There was a play at the wall, but just lifted over it. And the freshman adds on to her historic freshman season, and Michigan cuts the deficit to 3.
12th home run of the season for Lauren Putz. A laser line drive hit the fencing, but that was above the yellow line, so it was out of the park. Terry could not get there.
9-6 the score. Ella Stevenson, first pitch, changeup low.
I'm looking for JJ in the crowd right now. He's often here at these games. I can't find him, but continuing the legacy of that Putz name is Lauren.
Stevenson, the sophomore, 0 for 2 on the day. Here's the 1-0 pitch. That's a little high. Ball number 2. Stevenson, 2 flyouts, 1 in the first, 1 in the third. Looking to try to tack on right here. Michigan in a hole, trying to creep out of it. Here's the 2-0 to Stevenson, and she grounds that one foul.
Putz gets one back, but the Wolverines need base runners more than anything else to get 3 runs in 3 innings.
High scoring affair here. 9-6 your score. 2-1 pitch to Stevenson, and she grounds that one foul just past the third baseman, Woolery.
Solid contact, though, off of Fisher for these first 2 batters. Good sign of things to come for the Wolverines.
Stevenson, a .344 average, .379 on-base percentage, and she flies one. Playable for the second baseman, Pola, and she makes the catch in foul territory for out number 1. Stevenson Fouling that one just past the first base line. Pola came all the way over from second base to make the catch. Lily Valamont, the catcher, up to the plate.
Although Grant, the first baseman, is closer to that, it's often an easier play for Pola to make with that angle. She has a better viewpoint at the ball and isn't twisting and turning to make that catch.
Valamont fouls off the first pitch she sees. 0-1 count here for her. Here's the next pitch. That finds the strike zone for strike number 2. Valamont had a fielder's choice in the first. She did end up scoring off a home run by Ellie Sealer. Then struck out in the third. Here's the 0-2. Big shot by Lily Valamont. Deep center field. That's over the wall. Home run, Michigan. They're not out of this one yet.
.450 dead center for Lily Valamont. 2 solo shots in the 5th inning. Michigan cuts the deficit in half.
Lily Valamont's 4th home run of the season is a big one. Right over the center field wall. Almost hitting the cameraman there for Big Ten Plus out there. 330 dead center. Wolverines now cut the deficit to 2 runs in the bottom of the 5th. Ellie Sealer, the next batter. First pitch, the strike down the middle. 1 out here for the Wolverines. UCLA scoring 4 in the top of the frame. Michigan battling back already with 2 solo shots. Here's the 0-1 to Sealer. That's low for ball number 1.
After a game yesterday with, I believe, 0 home runs, there have been a number of them today.
1-1 to Sealer. That's just outside for ball number 2. Michigan fighting for its life here against number 7th ranked UCLA. Again, UCLA 2nd in the Big Ten. Here's a 2-1. That's outside for ball number 3.
Sealer been productive today. Has a home run and a walk. Trying to reach base for the 3rd time. Get the tying run to the plate.
Seen a lot of balls go over that wall today. Here's a 3-1. That's outside ball 4. So Ellie Sealer takes first base with just 1 out.
Home runs for Putz, Valamont, Sealer, and now Erickson, who is at the plate. The chance to tie the ball game.
So Fisher, who was just super productive in her first 2.5 frames, being hit on right here in the 5th inning. Maddie Erickson at the plate, swings through the first pitch she sees for strike number 1.
It's been a hole in Erickson's game, the ability to get to that low ball. She has not been able to hit that.
Next pitch to Erickson is a swing and a miss for strike number 2.
2 straight balls, bottom part of the zone, maybe dipping just below it. Erickson, it's like she can't see the ball right there.
Tensions are high here at Alumni. Here's the 0-2. That's just outside. Ball number 1. Good eye there by Maddie Erickson. Sealer on first. 1 out here. Wolverines scoring 2 runs. Trying to add to its total. 1-2 to the junior. And she fouls that one off into the netting. It scared a few of the fans. That one was coming like a missile right into that netting. 1-2 remains the count.
Erickson stays alive with some solid contact. Trying to extend those arms, get to that low pitch.
Here's the payoff, and Erickson puts on the ground past the shortstop Bragg for a single. Maddie Erickson adds to the Wolverines' hit total. Sealer on second, Erickson on first. 1 out here for Maddie Ramey.
Fisher went to that low pitch, and Erickson did extend the arms, got out in front of it, hard grounder through the 6-hole. And now another pinch runner. It is Lexi Delamonica who will run first base for Maddie Erickson. Represents the tying run. A gapper might score her, and that's the thought process behind Bonnie Thole's substitution. So Maddie Ramey
into the box. 2 runners on, 1 out for the junior first baseman. First pitch, outside. UCLA playing semi-in, double play territory. Woolery right next to third base. Grant right next to first. Middle infielders playing normal distances. Here's the 1-0. Big cut for Ramey, big swing and a miss. She got fooled by the breaking ball. Good pitch there by Addison Fisher.
Ramey 0 for 1 with a hit by pitch. Hitting .333 with runners in scoring position.
1-1, another big cut, swing and a miss for Ramey. Another breaking ball by Fisher, and Ramey is just trying to size up the fastball and got fooled twice. Need to protect here for Ramey, but for a second we step off the plate.
The outfield for UCLA is actually standing on the warning track a little bit. Expecting power from Ramey, just not letting anything get by them.
1-2, Ramey taps that one foul down the first base line, keeping herself alive.
And the reason they're so deep is they don't want to allow doubles. That's the no doubles outfields. Because the runner on first would score with a double and wouldn't with a single.
Anything bloop territory would at least mean 1. Here's the 1-2. That's in the dirt. Ball number 2. Tensions getting heated up here at Alumni Field. Even count for Maddie Ramey. Here's the pitch. Ramey pokes that one foul, and they call it just foul. Grant touched the ball right as it was entering foul territory. Home plate umpire John Baca calls it foul, and we redo it. Big spot. Here's the payoff, and that's outside. Ball number 3.
Huge spot here for Ramey. Down 2, 2 aboard, full count.
Quick pitch. Here's the payoff. That's now actually fair. Stepping on first is Grant. That's it. So Maddie Ramey gets the force out at first base, but advances her teammate Sealer, and actually Della Monica was the pinch runner who came in standing on first. So runners on second and third for the Wolverines. 2 outs here.
Costalis likely the pinch hitter here in the 9 spot for McVeigh.
Eva Costalis.
Some questioning about the umping here. Thole had a conversation with the umpires.
We get a conversation with Fisher.
They're challenging to see if it went foul.
It did look very close there, Theo. It was another one of these balls that was tapped, potentially foul. Grant tried to make a play on it before it goes foul to try to get the out, because she's seen many of these tap just foul, so they're challenging the call. It would be a sizable call at that, because it would lead to another 2-2 count with runners on first and second. Right now, runners on second and third with 2 outs. Wolverines would love to have an out back, another opportunity to score the runners on, potentially more. Got a fun one here in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Theo Shernoff. My name is Jake Singer.
Should this result stand of this foul ball, Costalis will pinch hit. You're right, Jake. It has been a fun one. Very high scoring shootout, 9-7.
And we're not done yet. Just not even through 5 innings. And these teams went to 8 yesterday. Just about 2 hours down in terms of game time so far. A long review. Gonna get the call right here.
After further review, the play on the field stands. It is a fair ball.
So I don't know if you guys could hear that one, but umpire Christina Drum says play stands, fair ball. So it'll be 2 out, runners on on second and third, and it'll be Ava Costalis. So Ella McVeigh, the shortstop 9-hole hitter, will be subbed out for the sophomore from St. Clair Shores, Michigan.
Since McVeigh already left the game and then returned and now is leaving again, she cannot re-return for a second time.
Very interesting
Wolverines
development.
will have a defensive substitution.
First pitch to Costales is in on her hand. She fouls that one off for strike number 1. And that's a very interesting development there. We already saw Indy Langford come out for a defensive substitution. We'll see who that name is to fulfill that shortstop role.
And it can't be Ilakwa since she already subbed in and out for Langford.
0-1, poked on the ground, fouled down the third baseline. She pulled that. Yeah, it'll be very interesting to see who they decide to sub in at shortstop.
I guessed Avery Fantucci, who's played some shortstop this season for the Wolverines, but we'll see in the top of the 6th.
0-2 to Costales, and that's inside for strike number 3. Costales gets caught looking. So Coach Thol's substitution does not pay off. Nonetheless, Wolverines do get 2 back and just trail 9-7. We enter the top of the 6th.
Disappointing ending to a very good inning. 6 outs left for the Wolverines. Need to manufacture 2 runs.
You also got to prevent the Bruins from scoring more, already scoring 4 more in the previous frame. Emerson Aiken back in the circle for the Wolverines.
Aiken just bounced the first warm-up pitch to Valamont and it hit Valamont in an awkward spot. Not thrilled with that. It is Avery Fantucci.
Good call there, Theo. So Fantucci comes into short. Ilakwa still at second. Ramey at first. Erickson at third. Outfield stays the same. Sealer, Conway, Stevenson.
Nearly every player has played today. Wolverines still have some relief pitchers they could put in the game. You're right, Ilakwa does remain at second. That's because Indiana Langford never actually came to hit in the inning. So when it is Langford's turn to hit, Langford will hit in the bottom of the 6th and then come in at second.
So Jordan Woolery, the first batter up for the Bruins, facing Emerson Aiken. First pitch is an off speed. That's low for ball number 1. 2 innings to go, potentially more. Top of the 6th inning for the Bruins. Here's the 1-0. That's cut foul for strike number 1 to Jordan Woolery. Woolery 0 for 3 on the day, still maintaining a .420 batting average. His 2 strikeouts and a flyout in the first.
Woolery, an ever so dangerous hitter, but behind her is an even more dangerous hitter.
Next pitch in the dirt for ball number 2. And you're right, with a dangerous hitter like Woolery, just a dangerous lineup at that, no batter you can really be able to pitch around because it could just mean more runs potentially scored.
OPS approaching 1.5.
Wow. Here's the 2-1. That's outside for ball 3 from Emerson Aiken.
It's crazy as Grant's is well above 1.5 and even above 1.6.
So Aiken needing to throw a strike here. 3-1 pitch to Woolery. And she flies that one. That's going to be a deep right field shot on the warning track. Is not playable for Stevenson. Off the wall. Woolery round second. She wants to go to third. Ilakwa throw to third is not in time. Jordan Woolery with a lead-off triple. And the Bruins have been consistently in business all game long. And Jordan Woolery gets herself in the hit column.
3rd triple of the season for Woolery. Gets herself at 3rd for Megan Grant. And it's a very, very tall task to limit runs in this inning now for Aiken.
So Woolery on third, no out here for Megan Grant, and as you already alluded to, Theo, one dangerous hitter followed by another. First pitch to Grant is low for ball number 1. It just felt like Woolery was due for one. 0 for 3, 2 strikeouts, but that .420 average, she's hitting almost once every 2 at-bats.
Yep.
She just came through right there for a leadoff triple.
3 bases to lead off the inning.
1-0 to Grant, finds a strike zone for strike number 1.
She went to the opposite field. Stevenson was just about a half second late on that ball, and since she overran it, she had to go back and get it, and that allowed Woolery to get to third.
1-1 to Grant, and she flies one really deep but foul down the right field line. Just got a little ahead of that one, but she had all bat to ball right there.
That's what makes Megan Grant so dangerous. That was an off-speed pitch, which normally hitters are ahead on, but she waited and waited and didn't wait quite long enough, but put a heavy bat to ball.
Here's the 1-2. That's outside and low for ball number 2. Even count to Megan Grant. UCLA bench has been into it all game long, helping their team battle back from a 4-run deficit and maintaining a 2-run lead. Here's the pitch to Grant. She flies one out deep center field to Conway. That's over the wall and out of there. Megan Grant with the 2-run shot. And the Bruins say, you scored 2, Michigan, we're going to score 2 right back.
This 3-4 punch in the order is so dangerous. Woolery gets 3 bases. Grant says, I'll see your 3 and raise you 1 more. Home run, and the lead is back up to 4, 11-7. When Michigan scores 7 runs, you feel like you're in a good spot. But against this UCLA team, no lead is safe.
So Wolverines scoring 2 after UCLA scores 4 in the top of the 5th. UCLA comes right back for 2 more here in the top of the 6th. Still no out as Coach Thole comes out to talk to her pitcher, Emerson Aiken. That will probably do it for her right now. We'll get another substitution. UCLA leading 11-7 here, top of the 6th inning, no out. So Kat Myers will be the new pitcher for the Wolverines. Michigan has gone to Lauren Durkowski. They've gone to Aaron Hain, Emerson Aiken. What can you tell me about the freshman, Kat Myers?
Freshman from Waterville, Ohio, 5'8", pitched some relief appearances on the season, hasn't started much, but Wolverines emptying their entire bench.
Myers a 2.88 ERA, a 1-0 record, 12 appearances, made 1 start. Jets have 1 save as well, 17 innings pitched this season.
I can count about 6 players who haven't entered the game for the Wolverines.
Both of these teams, a lot of names to filter through today. Michigan looking to stop the damage once again. Back-to-back innings, UCLA has piled it on.
This is great experience for the freshmen, though. Playing against the top 10 team in the country in a still somewhat high-pressure moment. This is only going to help her down the line when she pitches more crucial innings for these Wolverines.
Bragg in the box. First pitch is a strike down the middle. Nia Bragg 0 for 2 on the day. Did get hit by a pitch, though, in the 5th where she reached safely to first. Here's the 0-1 to Bragg, and that's low and outside for ball number 1 from Kat Myers.
This warm weather heating up the ball seems to travel more, and we're seeing just healthy fly balls eke over the wall. Conway thought that one was going to stay in the park from Grant, and it just kept on carrying and ended up in the baseball field.
1-1 is low, and you're right about that one. That shot there by Grant just kept carrying, and Conway was slowing up towards the wall, thinking she had a play on that, but it just kept going. And with the air, and as you said today, balls are flying. 1-2, that gets pulled. That's going deep over the wall in left field. It's out of here. Bragg has a home run. A triple, a homer, and another one here for UCLA. And the hits just keep on coming for the Bruins.
It's so hard for the Wolverines to just record an out. This inning has seemed to go on forever. 3 runs and no one out.
Bragg just completely turned and pulled on that one, going 210 over the left field wall. Nothing Sealer could do about that. It was a bullet. And another solo shot for the Bruins. 12-7, UCLA leads. Next batter is Alexis Ramirez. First pitch is outside for ball number 1. And for Kat Myers, a freshman who comes in the game already with a deficit, giving up a leadoff home run. How do you settle your freshman pitcher down right now?
You just tell her to keep pitching the way you have, and this UCLA team's going to get you. But every out should be an accomplishment.
Next, Ramirez lines one into center field for a base hit. Good play there by Conway to scoop that one, preventing extra bases. But Alexis Ramirez adds another hit to UCLA's total and reaches safely at first with a single.
You can tell the Wolverines are desperate for an out. Conway ran at that like she wanted to dive and try to get an out. Instead had to try to short hop it, and she did effectively. Kept Ramirez to a single on that hard hit ball. Myers, 2 batters, 2 hits, in a little bit of trouble. We'll see if Bonnie Thole keeps her in or not.
So Thole going out to talk to the home plate umpire, John Baca, for another second here. Myers taking off her mask as Thole comes back out to talk about something once again. Seeing that Haley Ferguson is now approaching the field, so you might be right. Myers may be done for now. And we will get a substitution. So Kat Myers comes out of the game. Haley Ferguson, another freshman, will now enter the circle. Coach Thole just trying to empty her bullpen and seeing what can work here. Already given up a 12 spot through 5 innings, not recording an out yet here in the 6th, but already giving up 3 more here. 12 hits, 12 runs for UCLA.
The scoreboards are pretty symmetrical right now. 12-12-1 for UCLA, 7-7-1 for Michigan.
Michigan with the 5 spot in the 1st and then 2 more in the 5th, but nothing around it. UCLA scoring in every inning but the 3rd. They had 1 in the 1st, 3 in the 2nd, 1 in the 4th, 4 in the 5th, and so far 3 in the 6th. And we haven't even recorded an out yet here in the top of the 6th inning. Again, thank you all for sticking with us here. He's Theo Shernoff. My name is Jake Singer. Wolverines still not out of it yet. We'll have 2 more plate appearances after they can get out of this inning. But UCLA looks to keep the fun going here against Haley Ferguson.
Ferguson, 5'5" freshman from Fairborn, Ohio. Went to Beaver Creek High School. She was a finalist for the 2022-2023 Gatorade Player of the Year, but she was a 4-time first team Division I All-Ohio player. So very successful high school career, bringing that to Ann Arbor. And now, again, good experience trying to get outs against this accomplished UCLA team.
So first pitch from Ferguson is a strike. The batter is Mujica, the freshman catcher, coming in pretty early on in replacement of Maggie Daniel. 0 for 2 on the day. Here's the 1-0-1. Big swing and a miss for strike number 2.
Coach Bonnie Thole just trying to throw darts at a dartboard, hoping anything will stick. Trying to get outs in this game. She knows every out is so important for the committee's eyes, trying to get into the NCAA tournament fields.
0-2 is inside and low for ball number 1. So 1-2 count to Sofia Mujica. Runner on first is Ramirez. No out here in the top of the 6th. Payoff pitch from Ferguson, and that off speed just misses outside part of the plate. Crowd was not happy with that one.
12-7, Bruins lead, 5-run deficit. We know the Wolverines can put up 5 in an inning. They've already done it once today. Coach Bonnie Tholes holding on to that hope.
Count even for Mujica. 2-2. Here's the pitch, and that's fouled off almost to us here in the press box.
I was ready for that one.
I
Jake.
was too. I'm always ready for those. Ball went off the inside part of Mujica's bat and bounced around the stands right below Theo and I. 2-2 count. Here's the pitch, and she flies that one. That's going to be deep center field, playable for Janisa Conway. She makes the catch for out number 1. That was a very tough out, a hard hit, but Conway was there, and the Wolverines finally get an out here in the top of the 6th.
Yeah, that was a laser, but not enough height on it to carry out of the park. Conway, standard defensive play.
Riley Slimp back up to the box, 3 for 3 today. She is just having a tear. First pitch to her is inside, ball number 1. 2 singles and a double to account for 2 RBI, and she scored every single time she's reached base.
3 runs on the day.
The freshman left fielder, her batting average now up to .384. Here's the 1-0. She gets that in her hands. Catch is made by Maddie Erickson for out number 2.
Popped it up. Weak contact. Easy play for Erickson, who had to take a few steps back. Quick 2 outs here for Haley Ferguson.
So good to see from the freshman in the circle, trying to work through a big hole for the Wolverines, just trying to give her team a chance. Caitlin Terry for another at-bat. First pitch is outside for ball number 1.
I don't know how UCLA has a drum going always, but they seem to have a drum in their dugout.
You got
Good vibes.
Player with cups stacked on her head and drums. Next pitch to Terry finds the outside corner for strike number 1. But that's what you see in the softball World Series. You see these teams just cheering and doing drumming and making noise, and it's definitely been working, whether it gets the bats going or distracting their team. Here's the 1-1. That's flied out. Up to left field is playable for Sealer, and she makes the catch for out number 3. UCLA adds 3 more, but no more after that. 12-7, the Bruins lead. Wolverines up at bat next, bottom of the 6th inning.
Quick inning for Ferguson. She comes in and retires 3 outs on 3 batters. And now the Wolverines, they have their work cut out for them. They know what they need. They need 5 runs. They have 6 outs to get it.
We've seen Michigan come out. We'll see what the Bruins decide to do in terms of pitching, as Fisher has been given a long leash. Haven't seen a new pitcher since her, as she will come back out. So 4 innings already against the Wolverines yesterday, and now she's got to approach 4 and potentially more here today.
She's already pitched 4. This is her 5th inning. And Indiana Langford's coming out to bat, who's been out of the infield the past few innings for Alakwa.
So it'll be top of the lineup for the Wolverines. Langford, Conway, Putz. Putz with the home run, her last at bat. We're going to need another, not just from her, but a lot of big hits from these Wolverine batters here at the top, just to cut into this lead at all to give them a chance in the 7th frame.
You just are trying to get on base right now, and you need a chunk of runs. Just get on base, set the table, keep the line moving, and that's the mentality for every single hitter right now.
So it'll be Langford, Conway, Putz, followed by Stevenson, Valamont, and Sealer. Infield playing very in right now. bottom 6 frame. Pitch to Langford is low for ball number 1. Woolery, Bragg, Pola, and Grant are the infielders. Mujica behind the dish. Slimp, Clemens, and Terry are the outfielders with Fisher in the circle. Next pitch finds a strike zone for strike number 1.
Wolverines have done most of the damage through the long ball. 4 home runs, accounting for 7, out of their total 7 runs.
1-1 is fouled off and out of play from Langford, so 1-2 the count to the junior second baseman.
7 home runs on the day. Langford unlikely to contribute to that number.
Yeah, no home runs this season for Langford. Next pitch is inside for ball number 2.
Did have her second double of the season to lead off the game today and came around to score.
Langford. Here's the 2-2, and she pokes that one past the third baseman, Woolery, and she has a leadoff single. Really nice slap hit there by Indy Langford, right past Woolery and Bragg, and the Wolverines have one on with no out.
That's all you're trying to do for Indiana Langford. She's on base. Now Conway's up. Can she get on base? Maybe do some damage, and then puts it. It's just whoever's behind you, that's their job.
Keep the train going. Janisa Conway 0 for 2. First pitch is inside for ball number 1.
The Bruins have done a great job of pitching to Conway today. Doesn't have a hit on the day. Walked in the first.
As Conway pulls the next pitch she sees foul. 1-1 count to her. You're right. This top of the lineup, it's about contact, and in the middle of your order, it's more power. So can you get the base runners moving around, drawing walks, just infield singles, little hits, forcing UCLA to make errors. As the outfield is playing pretty far back. Terry already at the warning track. Here's the one-way to Conway, and that's outside for ball 2.
Mujica popping up to threaten the throw on the steal from Langford, but it'd be unintelligent decision for Langford to steal here.
2-1 is in the dirt to Conway, so now she's worked a 3-1 count. Runner on first is Langford. No out here, bottom 6. Here's a 3-1, and that's down the middle for strike number 2. Full count to Janisa Conway.
12-7 Bruins.
Michigan looking just to tack some back. Here's the payoff, and she lines that one past the shortstop for a base hit. Langford parks at second. Conway parks at first, and the Wolverines have 2 on and no out here in the bottom of the 6th. So Lauren Putz up at the plate here, already 2 for 3 on the day.
Has an opportunity to keep the line moving, but also do some damage.
First pitch is high and outside for ball 1. Putz already with the home run in the 5th inning. It's a solo shot. She also had an RBI double in the first. 2 on, 1, no out. 1-0 is fouled off. The count is 1-1 to Lauren Putz.
3 straight lefties at the top of this order for Bonnie Thole and the Wolverines. Langford reached on a slap hit through the 6 hole. Conway reached on a hit through the 6 hole.
1-1 to Putz. Nice off speed, finding the high outside corner of the strike zone for strike number 2. Addison Fisher, the freshman. Here's the 1-2, and that's fouled off and out of play. Fisher has just been working and working and working all weekend long. She deserves all the stripes. She has a hole, though, right here. 2 on, no out. Here's the 1-2 to Putz, and that changeup just misses outside.
Very close take for Lauren Putz. With 2 strikes, you're protecting with anything close. Chose to not pull the trigger, and she was right.
2-2 to Putz. Payoff pitch, and she puts on the ground. Fair ball into right field. Rounding third is Langford. Rounding second's Conway. Langford comes in. Wolverines tack on. 12-8, the Wolverines trail.
Conway from first had to jump over that ball. Putz hit a hard grounder. Conway jumped over it, made her way to third. Langford scored. Now The tying run comes on deck.
So Ella Stevenson up at the plate now. Runners on the corners. It's Conway and Putz. No out here for the sophomore right fielder. First pitch, big cut, swing and a miss, strike one. Stevenson with 3 fly balls to the outfield, all outs today, 0 for 3 on the day. Does still have a .341 batting average, 8 home runs. Here's the 0-1, and she pulls that one foul into the Bruin dugout.
Big opportunity for Stevenson to keep the line moving. 3 straight singles by lefties have started out this inning. That's all you need to get runners on base.
0-2. Here's the payoff pitch to Stevenson. Sheave pops that one, potentially playable for Woolery at third, but it just hits the net and out of play.
She might have had a chance for that. I've seen players in baseball push the net out of the way to make room for that ball, but Woolery kind of cowered away from that ball as it hit the railing.
Yeah, tough spot right there for Woolery, so 0-2 count still for Stevenson. Runners on the corners, no out. Pitch to Stevenson, and she knocks that one foul once again, pulling that one into the Bruin bench.
Staying alive as Fisher continues to pound the zone with 2 strikes.
Fisher looking to stop the damage. 12-8 Bruin lead. Here's the 0-2. Off speed is high and outside. Good take there by Stevenson. 1-2 count. Payoff pitch, and she fouls that one once again down the third base line. Stevenson's just been very much in front of it. She has been timing up Fisher's pitches. Fisher maybe looking to get her to chase on the off speed or blowing one by her on the fastball, but Stevenson has been out front every single time so far this at bat.
She's early, sitting fastball.
1-2. Pitch to Stevenson, and big swing and a miss. She went a high fastball. Strike number 3, big first out by Addison Fisher.
Swung at the high cheese, couldn't lay off. It looks juicy, and then it keeps on climbing.
Textbook pitching there by Fisher, just a freshman, but that was all IQ right there, working that count. Lily Valamont, first pitch is low and inside for ball 1.
Went yard last time, deep to center.
And not a ton this season, just her 4th on the year, but she pieced that up. 1-0 to Valamont, and she flies that one up, potentially playable for Woolery. Same exact spot, and hit the netting and went out of play. So 1-1 count to the catcher. Valamont a .269 average, 29 RBIs, has a chance for more. 1-1. Here's the pitch. Down up the middle, potentially double play ball. Got 1 at second, got 2 at first. Bragg steps on it, throws it over to Grant, and the double play is successful. Wolverines cannot add more than 1 there, and will go into the final frame trailing by 4.
Disappointing ending to the inning. Easy double play for Bragg. Stepped on second with her left foot, and then threw without even stepping over to first in plenty of time for Valamont, who does not run very well.
So we enter the 7th inning here. UCLA's last ups. Wolverines will get another at-bat as well. Michigan trails by 4 runs here. Haley Ferguson back in the circle. It'll be Erickson, Fantucci, Langford, and Ramey. So another interesting substitution that Indy Langford comes back into the game for Lacqua.
Well, when she hit that past inning, she kind of has to. Or they would elect a different player to play second.
Exactly, yeah, that's exactly. Sealer, Conway, Stevenson have been the outfielders all game long. Valamont still behind the dish. Thank you all for listening to WCBN Sports. He's Theo Shernoff. I'm Jake Singer. One more frame to play here in the home finale at Alumni Field in Ann Arbor, Michigan, between the UCLA Bruins and the Michigan Wolverines. Clements up to bat, top of the order for the Bruins. First pitch, she grounds on right to Ferguson, on to first to Ramey for out number one. One pitch, one out for the freshman pitcher.
Ferguson pitching to contact, and she fields her own position nicely. Snagged that one. It was right at her chest. Easy play to first. Tiring Clements is huge.
One out, Savannah Pola into the box. First pitch to her is down the middle for strike number one. Pola 2 for 4 today. Home run and a single.
Pola from Santa Ana, California.
Here's the 0-1. That's high and outside. Check swing does not go. 1-1 count to Pola. Even count. Here's the 1-1, and that's low and inside for ball number 2 from Haley Ferguson.
Clements and Pola are the two seniors in this lineup for the Bruins. They have a lot of youth. Next year they will be just as good, if not better.
Looking to throw a strike as Ferguson. Here's the 2-1, and she does down the middle for strike number 2. One out, 2-2 count, top of the 7th. Wolverines trying to prevent anything else to try to come back here in the bottom of the frame. Payoff pitch and slapped foul is Pola. One more pitch here for Ferguson. Here's the 1-2, but slapped fair into left field for a base hit. Sealer throws it into the infield, but Pola has another base hit here and keeps the inning going. One out with a runner on first, top of the 7th.
Pola's so good at getting the bat, the sweet spot of the bat to the ball. She went yard already once, and that was a solid hit into left. That brings up Jordan Woolery.
Woolery with a towering triple. I was into the corner of right field. Her last time up, 1 for 4 on the day. First pitch is high and outside. Woolery's shot going right into the corner, going 197 feet, ricocheting around Ella Stevenson. 1-0 to Woolery. That's inside for ball 2. Haley Ferguson already battling. One out here. Runner on first. Here's the pitch, and she lines it up the middle. Nice play by the shortstop, though. Fantucci on to first for the double play. Fantucci to Langford to Ramey, and the Wolverines have a chance.
Ferguson was pumped up about that one. Fantucci snagged it on a short hop. Great play. Fired to Langford. Langford doesn't have the best arm, but she moved quickly on that one and beat Woolery by about a quarter of a step. Little momentum going into the home 9th, or the home 7th, excuse me. Wolverines need 4 to tie, 5 to win.
So Fantucci coming in for the senior. McVeigh making the scoop at short. And as you said, really spot-on throw there by Indy Langford to get the out at first to Maddie Ramey.
And that was a huge play because that could have been a single or even extra bases up the middle. And maybe runners on the corners with 1 out, you're looking a little bleak. But then it retires the side with a double play, and you still have to face Fisher, who's been unstoppable. But same mentality. Keep the line moving, and hopefully you don't ground into that double play like you did last inning.
Avery Fantucci, the junior. As we said, McVeigh, a senior, potentially Fitucci is able to take that starting shortstop role next season as the senior and showing off the leather there. So it'll be one last chance for the Wolverines. Ellie Sealer followed by Maddie Erickson and then potentially Maddie Ramey. We get the Narcos going here. Sealer 1 for 1 today, a home run and 2 walks. And she's going to need a big spot here, but Addison Fisher is coming out for another inning of work.
She's
her 6th.
She's pitched 5 complete, 6 hits allowed, 3 earned runs and 3 runs, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts, 2 homers allowed, but no extra base hits other than those 2 solo shots.
So she's pretty much had the Wolverines' number. First pitch to Sealer is outside and low. Actually, sorry, my apologies. Second pitch is outside and low for ball number 2. 2-0 to Sealer. Pitch from Fisher is low again, ball 3. And you can tell that Fisher's pumped up, maybe pressing a little bit, trying to calm herself down. Just got to throw strikes here. You still have a 4-run lead.
That cushion is nice. You can pitch to defense.
Next pitch is down the middle for strike number 1 on the 3-0. So Sealer just holding there. Wolverines just need base runners. 3-1 to the senior left fielder. And she skies one into left center field for a base hit. Ellie Sealer gets on the board, and the Wolverines continue their lead-off magic.
That's a base runner. Here comes Erickson looking to keep the supply chain moving.
Erickson has some pop in her game, 6 home runs, 6 doubles. She's 2 for 3 on the day. The home run in the first. First pitch, big cut, swing and a miss. Another low ball that Erickson has swung through.
Erickson, again, she figured it out in the last at-bat, but has struggled with those low pitches all season long.
Here's the 0-1. She fouls off the next pitch. She sees low once again. Addison Fisher's accuracy has been spot on, continually firing low there to Maddie Erickson. (0-2) to Erickson, payoff pitch, and she flies that one foul into the stands, out of play.
Erickson's 2 for 3 on the day. She went yard, her 6th homer of the season, and then also a single in the last inning. Was doubled up at second base to retire the side, though.
Be Erickson and then Karakaburu. Next pitch to Erickson, line to the third baseman. Second is 1, to first is 2. Double play, Woolery to Pola to Grant. And UCLA has quickly picked up 2 outs here in the bottom of the 7th.
Riley Carcaburo is the pinch hitter. 2 outs in the 7th. Down to their final out from Riverside, California. Went to Woodcrest Christian, the red shirt senior. Didn't play her freshman year and then has played 3 straight games. And now is the final hope for the Wolverines, who have played a long game and allowed a lot of runs, but also scored a lot of their own.
My apologies, Riley. Carcaburo. The senior, first pitch, big swing and a miss, strike 1.
She's only had 7 at-bats this season. Has 2 hits, 1 home run.
The 0-1 from Fisher is down the middle for strike number 2.
Wolverines down to their final strike of the ball game.
Payoff pitch from Fisher, and that's fouled off out of play. Carcaburo just trying to maintain and hold on here.
Keep the line moving. You can't get 4 runs in 1 swing with no one on base. Pitch hitting for Maddie Ramey.
0-2, here's the pitch, and that's fouled off.
Wolverines looking at a sweep, dead in the eyes. after getting swept last weekend by Ohio State. Lost the first two to UCLA and now down 8-12. 2 outs in the bottom of the 7th. No one on base.
Another pitch from Fisher, and that's fouled and pulled. Nice protecting there for the Wolverines.
Kookaburra keeping fans in their seats for at least a few seconds longer.
0-2 count. Here's the pitch. Off speed is just outside. Nice hold there. 1-2 count. A long day here at Alumni Field. Down to their last strike of the Wolverines. Payoff pitch, high fastball, swing and a miss, strike 3. Ball game over. UCLA completes the sweep. First time playing in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Wolverines will finish the season winless against ranked opponents.
Wolverines come up short. They put up an offensive performance, but unfortunately they allowed 12. So a 12-8 win, and it was really all Addison Fisher.
Wolverines tried to pile some more on late, but it was the Bruins offense combined with Addison Fisher today. Tell me about Fisher's stat line.
6 innings, 3-run ball, only 7 hits, but limited the damage, got the double plays when she needed them. The home runs were solo shots. She won the series for the Bruins. Got the save on Saturday. 4 scoreless yesterday, and today 6 innings. Shut down the Wolverines in this shootout. They're scoring 5 in the first, limited to 3 in the rest of the game. And there are handshakes going all around the field. Bonnie Thole congratulating the Bruins and her team. Great series for the Bruins. Wolverines have some to look forward to, but their tournament hopes looking bleaker and bleaker by the day.
4 home runs by Michigan, 3 by UCLA, but it was those 13 hits to 11, those big hits for the Bruins in those big moments, piling on 3 runs twice and 4 runs in 1 inning, and those big innings have just stacked up too many times and allowed the Bruins to complete the sweep. Michigan, 8 runs on 11 hits and 1 error. Bruins, 12 runs on 13 hits and 1 error. And UCLA will be looking very good entering Big Ten tournament and into the postseason. The Wolverines will need to look to sweep Minnesota next week in Minneapolis if they want to be in a very comfortable spot heading into postseason territory.
Yeah, they have their work cut out for them. They've dug themselves into a hole. They need to climb out of it. Big Ten tournament upcoming, potential tournament after that, but they have the work cut out of them. Beautiful day for softball, though, today, Jake.
Well, Theo, it was an honor calling my final game for WCBN with you. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Thank you to my parents and to my grandparents for listening to almost every single one of my broadcasts in the last 4 years. It's a very surreal and very emotional moment to be sitting here at Alumni Field calling the best university in the world with the best broadcasters in the world, and I'm excited to see what you can do in the future, Theo, and everybody else at WCBN. Your final score, 12-8 UCLA. Stay with us for the rest of our baseball and softball coverage as we continue to cover these two teams heading into the postseason. But for Theo Shernoff, I'm Jake Singer, signing off one more time for WCBN Sports. So long, good night, and go blue from Ann Arbor.
Make me shed a tear.
Good doing with you, buddy. You're fantastic.